From dolls that seem to come to life, to unknown visitors lurking in your own home, to strange and unexplainable light phenomena in the sky, these are some of the most chilling and mysterious moments ever captured on camera. This bizarre footage comes from a rather unexpected place and an unusual angle.
What is it?
It's a person, dude. No, seriously, pull over, pull over.
Sure, the footage is a bit shaky, but it's definitely more intriguing than those usual clips where something barely visible moves among the trees. First, there's no doubt something is actually there, and second, the scale. Whatever this is, it has to be at least 1 to 2 stories tall to be seen from such a distance. Honestly, some forensic expert needs to dig into this and give us the facts. Until then, what do you think we're looking at? This lady got a collection of dolls from a passed away family member and is trying to get rid of them, and you are about to see exactly why.
Interested in that doll, please let me know, because I don't want to keep her, but I'd like her to go to a good home. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's interested. I don't... Did that
Oh my god, that's
thing just move?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? I'd like her to go to a good home. I mean, if there's somebody out there that's interested.
The head of the doll moved slowly, like it is watching her, listening to what she is saying. I have no idea why people keep these things around in their homes. These guys were having a good time, chilling, laughing, all good vibes. But trust me, that's about to change real quick.
Aí, fim da festa aí, pessoal. Ó, comprei a câmera nova. Vamos colocar um vídeo no YouTube aí, ó.
Ai, que vergonha, não faz isso.
A Josi capotada já, com sono. Aí, Thiago, a câmera que eu comprei nova aí.
Bebeu demais.
Vermelhinha e tal. Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho?
Okay, so that was creepy, but no need to freak out, right? Someone walking past your window could just be a random passerby. Well, not exactly.
Eu vi uma coisa aqui, Thiago. Tem uma coisa que passou aqui, velho.
Ih, velho.
Tô falando sério, cara. Tô falando sério. Vem aqui comigo, cara.
Tem nada aqui não.
Eu vi uma coisa assim, cara.
Tá louco, mano?
Maluco. Maluco. Eu vou voltar a câmera. Eu vou voltar a câmera e você vai ver, velho.
That wasn't outside. That was inside their home. And now I'm just wondering, why aren't they more freaked out? If that were me, I'd be screaming my head off by now.
Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho?
Irrespective of how spooky that was, this next one takes the scare factor up a notch. And by a notch, I mean heart-stopping scary. What's up with this woman? The black face paint and those piercing eyes. Yeah, she's definitely going to haunt my dreams tonight, and probably yours too. What's scarier, what you can see or what you can't see? Well, this next clip might just help you decide.
कंडक्टर सीट पे अभी कोई नहीं है, कोई भी नहीं है, लेकिन यहाँ पे कोई ना कोई बैठा हुआ है, पर हमें से कोई दिक्कत परेशानी नहीं हो रही। ये देखो, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ कैमरे में, सीसीटीवी कैमरे लगे हुए हैं बस के अंदर।
This footage comes from a public transport bus in Delhi, India. Let me translate. The guy is pointing out that no one is sitting in the conductor's designated seat. Seems pretty obvious.
और आप इधर देख सकते हो, जो कंडक्टर सीट पे एक व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ है। देखो, दिख रहा है आपको? कंडक्टर सीट पे ये व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ है।
That's strange. The CCTV feed shows someone sitting there, clear as day.
ये देखो, दोबारा से ध्यान से देख लो, बैठा हुआ है। और मैं जो है आपको दोबारा से कंडक्टर सीट की तरफ ले जाता हूँ, और देखो यहाँ कोई भी नज़र नहीं आ रहा कैमरे में। देखो, फिर से एक बार और देख लो, ध्यान से, कहीं मिस्टेक हो रही हो। बाकायदा इसमें दिख रहा है व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ। ये देखो, दिखा आपको? लेकिन ऐसे अगर मैं पीछे करके दिखाता हूँ, बस मैं अंदर या कंडक्टर शीट पे देखो दोबारा से, कोई भी नज़र नहीं आ रहा।
But how? Could this be staged? Let's take a closer look at the feed to see if there's anything that proves this CCTV footage is actually live.
देखो दिख रहा है आपको, कंडक्टर सीट पे ये व्यक्ति बैठा हुआ है, ये देखो दोबारा से ध्यान से देख लो, बैठा हुआ है। और मैं जो है आपको दोबारा से कंडक्टर सीट की तरफ ले जाता हूँ और देखो यहाँ कोई भी नज़र नहीं आ रहा कैमरे में।
Could it really be a ghost, or are we looking at an elaborate setup? What do you think? This next one is as fascinating as it is eerie. It's from a Halloween contest run by Ring Camera, where people were asked to send in the most haunting footage captured on their devices. This could either be one of the best produced ghost hoax videos or some of the most compelling evidence of a ghost caught on camera. Honestly, I'm torn. For starters, the lack of a timestamp means we can't confirm it's a continuous feed, and everything seems a little too perfect. But here's the kicker. Would Ring really allow a hoax to make it as an official contest entry? If they vetted it, maybe there's more to it. That figure looks like an apparition. Meanwhile, the woman seems completely real. The chair, it moves by itself. The figure only appears after it's positioned, casually sitting down and sipping from the cup. Here's the thing, the ghostly figure feels oddly believable, while the woman seems like she is acting. Talk about irony, the ghost feels more genuine than the living. So, what do you think? Is this too good to be true, or are we looking at something genuinely unexplainable? Let me know, because I can't decide. Our next clip takes us to Highland, Michigan, where a young family's chilling encounter with the unknown made headlines.
What is it? Is it real? And what is it doing there?
Wondering what she's talking about? Well, take a look.
It's almost like she sees something that we don't.
This is 15-month-old Lily. Adorable, right? But what's happening around her is far from cute.
It's an image Heather and Josh say is haunting their home.
It was chilling. It was literally a chill.
Did you catch that? A ghostly figure walking past, and it wasn't just the camera picking it up. Lily noticed it too.
A few weeks ago, what appears to be something moving in front of the baby crib.
I freaked out. I stopped what I was doing and I ran upstairs and I grabbed my daughter.
If it was just an apparition on the footage, you might dismiss it as a trick of the light. But it's not that simple. There's more.
Heather says this so-called ghost scratched her daughter Lily and attacked her too.
It scares us that it could do something else. I mean, there was even a morning that I woke up and I had felt like something was around like someone's hands were around my neck.
This is every parent's worst nightmare. A ghost scratching your baby and trying to choke you. That's a level of terror that goes beyond scary faces or eerie noises. If it were me, I'd be out of that house immediately. For young parents, the idea of something unseen causing physical harm to their child is a fear that hits too close to home, and it's more horrifying than anything else I can imagine. Now, let's take a break from the supernatural, but don't get too comfortable. Nature has its own way of being terrifying. This next clip starts out lighthearted, just a group of friends fooling around.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. No.
Yeah, just do it there, mate. Just see how far.
No, that little movement. That's sketchy, man. No, Callum. I swear that's too much.
That's why you're now.
Yep, he definitely needs a hand, and thank goodness someone is there to give him one.
I might need a hand.
That's genuine. Oh my god.
Yeah, I am sinking. Like, I'm not going in there.
Let him have it.
Mate, I'm fucked.
Let it have him. God. Wait.
Slide over. No.
Imagine if he'd been alone and ended up in that ditch. This story could have had a very different ending. Nature doesn't play games, and honestly, neither should you. Respect Mother Nature. She can be as unforgiving as she is nurturing. This next clip, I'm honestly at a loss for words. It's wild, bizarre, and downright baffling. Trust me, you're going to have a lot of questions after seeing this.
Сверху не надо, аккуратно. Туда тащи. Потихонечку, давай чисто. Вперед выдаем, тихонечко. Выше, да? Давай. Да. Скорость где? Давай, еще. Давай, смелее. Нормально.
Alright, something's obviously stuck in that pipe. Naturally, you'd think it's someone's pet, right? Well, brace yourself, because you're about to be shocked.
Еще. Стоп! Что там? Давай. Как ты? Идёт.
Seriously, how does a man end up in that pipe? What kind of drunken adventure or catastrophic mishap led to this? I can't even come up with a theory that makes sense. Can you? If you've got a crazy explanation, I'm all ears, because this one has me completely stumped. The land down under never fails to surprise. Here's a clip from what looks like an ordinary supermarket, but with a very unusual visitor. You're just grabbing some spices, minding your own business, and all of a sudden, a snake is staring back at you. Anywhere else in the world, this would have caused absolute chaos. But in Australia, it's just another Tuesday. The locals, cool as ever, they even captured it and released it back into the wild.
You alright? You gotta go.
So, if you're ever in Australia, keep your eyes peeled and maybe think twice before reaching for the top shelf. As you've seen before, dolls can be creepy, and here's more proof of that. Just look how creepy this is.
Whoa, what the fuck, bro?
You still think dolls aren't creepy enough? What if they don't want to be left alone or stuck inside four walls?
This needs to stop. I need help, please.
That doll, or whatever is in it, seriously wants out. And honestly, I don't think that's a good idea.
This one actually kind of looks like you. I don't see it. The freak? Its eyes moved. I'm serious, dude. The little figurine's eyes moved. Why are you always messing with me?
Let's shift from something up in the mountains to something up in the sky. What is this? I've never seen anything like it. The way the sky splits into two distinct shades is downright bizarre. I'm sure science has an explanation for this, but for now, it's just one more mystery to add to the list. If the last one was bizarre, this next clip takes things to a whole new level. We're in Uzbekistan now, and what you're about to see might leave even science scratching its head. Let's jump right in. At first glance, it's just a highway near a gas station. Nothing unusual here, right? Well, not exactly.
Что случилось в небе? Что за хуйня? Бля, сам в шоке. Что, весь город свет вырубило, да, только что?
Could it be some kind of alien technology? Honestly, it reminds me of Independence Day, when the spacecraft enters the atmosphere. Obviously not that massive, but still, whatever this is, I'm pretty sure it's no natural phenomenon. So, could it really be something from another world? If the last one had me guessing, this next one, if it's real, is almost certainly out of this world.
Oh! What is it?
Three bright orbs in the sky. How many times have we heard this before? It's practically folklore by now. From the Foo Fighters spotted by World War II pilots to the mysterious lights hovering over the Nazca lines. These sightings have been reported for centuries. But what are they? No one can say for sure. If you ask me though, it's got otherworldly written all over it. Let's shift from the skies to the seas for a truly bizarre clip. This one comes from Khabarovsk. What we're looking at here is a tsunami of ice. Yep, those are massive blocks of ice crashing down and breaking through the railings. It might look otherworldly, but we actually know what's behind this. A sudden rise in temperature causes the ice to melt and break into blocks, which are then pushed to shore by wind and water, creating this dramatic phenomenon. So, there you have it. One mystery we can actually solve, but it doesn't make it any less fascinating to watch. At first glance, this looks pretty routine. Cars being transported on an open deck ship. Nothing strange, let alone scary. Here's the problem. Seawater is loaded with salt, and when it comes into contact with car batteries, it's a recipe for disaster. A short circuit sparked a fire, and this is the result? All those cars, now nothing but charred scrap, millions, if not billions, gone in a blaze. It's mind-boggling that businesses handling such valuable cargo can overlook such a basic risk. Common sense clearly didn't make it on board this ship. Speaking of salt causing damage, this next clip might make you think twice about stepping on a beach again. What you're seeing is salt being poured onto the sand. Looks like a waste, right? Well, hold on. You're about to see why. And no, those aren't human fingers creeping out of the ground. But trust me, it's just as unsettling. Those are razor clams. The salt draws moisture from their burrows, making it unbearable, so they're forced to crawl out to survive. It's one of those moments where truth really is stranger than fiction. Mother Nature, she's fascinating, weird, and just a little gross all at the same time. A boy wanders through the woods at night, his camera recording the adventure. The darkness around him is thick, pierced only by the occasional beam of his flashlight. Suddenly, a humanoid figure leaps out in front of him, startling and unidentifiable.
Oh my gosh! Help! Help!
The creature, or person, gives chase, and the boy's steady walk turns into a frantic run. The camera jostles wildly as he flees, capturing only glimpses of the shadowy pursuer. The footage is raw and pulses with urgency, making us question what we're seeing. Is this a genuine encounter with a strange creature of the night, or could it be a friend in disguise? Orchestrating a prank in the perfect setting for a scare? In the moment, with adrenaline high and breaths coming fast, it might seem like the former. But reflecting on the video, it feels more likely to be a case of human mischief rather than an unearthly chase in the dark woods. Through the lens of a man's camera, we're guided through the eerie silence of an abandoned city. The structures around him are hollowed out, remnants of life that once filled these spaces. As the camera pans across the windows of a desolate building, a peculiar shadow catches his attention. It's indistinct, lacking a definite shape, hovering in the space where someone might have once looked out onto a bustling street. The ambiguity of the shadow in such a desolate place whispers of ghost stories, the kind that cling to abandoned spaces. Could this fleeting shadow be a spectral resident left behind as the city emptied? While the imagination can run wild in such a setting, I'm inclined to think there's a less supernatural explanation. A trick of the light, perhaps, or a piece of debris stirred by the wind. Even so, in the absence of life, it's all too easy for the mind to fill the void with ghosts. A man's exploration of an abandoned building is documented through his camera. The silence of the forgotten space is palpable. As he turns a corner, the camera shakily reveals the back of the room where an unexpected figure loomed. It's humanoid in shape, dark with large, glaring eyes that seem to pierce through the dimness. The sight sends a jolt of fear through the man, and the camera's shake intensifies. This unsettling presence raises a host of questions. Is it merely a trick of shadow and debris, or something living that calls the desolate building home? Or could it be someone or something more mysterious? In such a setting, the mind may expect to encounter the unexplained, and fear can conjure phantoms from the mundane. Personally, I suspect the creature is less a specter, and more a play of light and nerves. Yet it's the not knowing that sends a shiver up the spine. From the grainy view of a trail camera, set deep within the forest's embrace, we witness a scene that stirs the imagination. The quality is poor, each frame smeared with the blur of low resolution, yet there's a distinct movement that commands our attention. Against the backdrop of a solitary tree, a shadowy figure emerges, walking upright on 2 feet in a manner that's all too human for a typical forest creature. This shadowy form strides into the frame, then just as quickly, it's swallowed by the dense tapestry of the woods. The suggestion of Bigfoot crosses our minds. It's a shape, a gait that folklore and whispers have long associated with the legendary being. Looking at the ambiguous silhouette, it's tempting to believe we're peering into the unknown. However, the skeptic in me leans towards a more earthly explanation. Perhaps a person out for a walk, distorted by the camera's limitations. In the realm of shadows and myths, truth often remains just out of focus. This is the CCTV footage from a homeowner who claims to have had one of most terrifying encounters. We can see a man hanging outside the house with his wife and his dog. Far in the distance, a sound which seems like a strange dog barking can be heard. After a while, it can be heard again, but this time closer to their fence. After a few more moments, the sound was getting closer and closer at a speed it was not normal. The sound changed from barking to what sounds like a bird. The owners were paying close attention now, but not knowing what exactly it was. They went inside the house. The next day, the owner went outside again for a smoke, but this time, the sound was like a deep, slow breathing one. It sounded even closer to him. Given how terrified the owner got, he went to look at the security footage, and that is when he saw this. A strange line of lights can be seen moving exactly in front of him. I am not sure whether this is a strange effect of the camera, or the sounds he was hearing were in fact from this thing. He claims that at the time he could not see anything, just hear heavy breathing close to him. So is this the footage of what appears to be a ghost? From the sound of the language the driver is speaking, it sounds like this footage is from Russia. The road is dark, with the only source of light being the car's headlight. Suddenly, in the distance, we can see a big figure pass in front of the car. The people inside the car start shouting upon spotting the creature, clearly not expecting to be met with this sight. The creature quickly dashes out of their view into the forest. If we slow down the recording, we can see that the figure is pretty solid, with what appears to be hair all over their body. It's difficult to say with certainty what the creature in the dash cam footage could be. Some may speculate that it could be Bigfoot or another type of undiscovered hominid. So could this be an Yeti or Bigfoot? My instincts say yes, however, it could be fake as well. But I applaud the efforts to dress up and go into the middle of nowhere just to film this, if this is the case. What do you think? We can see the footage from a motorcyclist traveling through a forest, but we are immediately met with a very strange sight. Bones scattered around the forest trail evoke an unsettling feeling that something is not quite right in this place. The motorcyclist himself seems to be taken aback by the sight, but presses on, venturing deeper into the woods. The path he's on is difficult, with many fallen trees blocking his way, but he remains undeterred and continues onward, determined to reach his destination. He gets to a point where 2 small trees have fallen exactly on the road and are completely blocking his way forward, just as he's saying in the video.
This is where most people would turn around.
But he goes on and tries to move them aside. Not being able to do so, he tries to get his bike over them. But just as he is doing that, he hears something in the forest. The subtitles from his original video say that it was the sound of someone shouting for help. He hears branches breaking as something appears to be moving towards him. In that moment, his instincts take over and he decides to flee, turning his motorcycle around and speeding away from the source of the noise. But what really really happened in the forest that day? Was it just his imagination playing tricks on him, or was there something more sinister lurking in the shadows? The bones scattered on the forest trail and the eerie howling in the distance suggest that this place might not be as safe as it seemed. Who or what could be responsible for these strange occurrences? What annoys me about this footage is that if he indeed heard help, just as he indicated by the subtitles he put on, then why turn around to flee when you hear someone coming towards you? Couldn't it be someone who is in danger and needs your help? But at the same time, for me, it did not sound like shouts for help, but rather as a very creepy howl. And in that case, I think he did the right thing. The footage that has been captured in the sewer is incredibly intriguing and mysterious. It immediately raises questions about what kind of creature could be lurking in the depths of the sewer system. The remote machine with the camera on it provides us with a unique and rare insight into a world that is normally hidden from view. As the footage begins, we can see the remote machine slowly making its way through the dark and murky tunnels of the sewer system. It's clear that whoever is controlling the device is searching for something, but what they find is truly startling. A strange figure with glowing eyes appears to be peeking around the corner as if it is watching the device's movements. The figure is tall and slender, with an unnerving pallor to its skin. Its glowing eyes seem to be fixed on the camera, and it looks as though it is assessing the situation before it decides to move. The creature appears to be cautious and wary of the device, but as the device moves further into the sewer system, the creature becomes bolder and we get a better look at its shape and form. It is clear that this is no ordinary creature, and its appearance is enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Its movements are erratic and jerky, and it seems to be watching the device's every move. As the creature becomes more confident, it moves closer and closer to the camera. Its pale skin and glowing eyes seem to be illuminated by some unknown light source, and it looks as though it is about to pounce. But just as quickly as it appeared, the creature is scared off and runs away into the darkness. What kind of creature was that? Was it a previously undiscovered species or something even more sinister? The remote machine footage leaves us with more questions than answers, and it is clear that there is much more to be discovered in the depths of the sewer system. The video opens to the image of a dark and desolate country road. The car is stopped, as if the driver knows something up ahead is not right. Suddenly, we can see a very bizarre figure moving on all fours in the distance. It's not clear what it is, but the driver's instincts tell him to back away slowly. As the car begins to retreat, the camera zooms in on the creature, revealing a humanoid shape with a white appearance that appears to somewhat glimmer in the darkness. The creature moves with an eerie slowness and grace, its movements almost like those of a wild animal, yet it doesn't resemble any creature of the natural world. The driver is understandably terrified and keeps reversing, all while the creature continues to move slowly forward. As the creature comes into view, we can see its humanoid form more clearly, with a slender body and a head that almost seems to turn and look directly at the camera. Many speculate that this creature is none other than the legendary Skinwalker, a creature that has long been associated with dark and ominous folklore. But could it be something else? Something that has never been seen before? The driver's quick retreat leaves us with more questions than answers. What was that creature? And more importantly, what did it want? This footage is from a trail camera that seems to have caught something interesting in sight. On the left side of the camera, we can see some sort of an insect being up close to the lens, inspecting the camera. It moves back and forth, perhaps trying to find a way to eat the trail cam. Could this be a spider that wanted a bit of spotlight? There is nothing unnatural about this footage, but to me, as an arachnophobe, it gave me a bit of a chill seeing its legs so close to my monitor. The trail camera footage captures a bizarre and intriguing moment in the life of a wild bear. In the dense forest, the bear spots something that he had never seen before, a mirror. The camera captures his reaction, which is nothing short of entertaining. The bear appears to be taken aback by the strange object, and at first seems unsure of what it could be. However, as he gets closer, goes on the offensive. In a sudden burst of fury, the bear starts attacking the mirror with all his might, as if he had come across an enemy in his territory. He stands up on his hind legs, attempting to make himself as big as possible, and unleashes a series of punches on the mirror. It's fascinating to watch how the bear's instincts kick in as he tries to ward off what he perceives to be a threat to his territory. Despite the futility of his attack, the bear doesn't give up and continues to lash out at the mirror until he finally manages to pull it down from the tree. The entire episode is a testament to the sheer power and ferocity of these magnificent creatures, as well as their curious nature. While the footage is certainly entertaining, it also raises some interesting questions about the behavior of wild animals. Do they have the capacity for self-awareness? Do they understand the concept of reflection? As the footage from the trail camera starts to play, a sense of unease quickly sets in. We see a hand, big and hairy, appear out of nowhere and reach for the camera lens. The hand inspects the camera curiously, as if trying to determine what this device is and what it does. But as the hand moves closer and closer, we realize that this is no ordinary hand. It looks more like a hand of a primate, with rough and calloused skin covered in coarse hair. The longer we watch the footage, the more we become convinced that this is not a human hand, but something else entirely. Could it be the hand of a monkey? A gorilla? The hand is so close and so clear, yet so mysterious and intriguing. And as it continues to move over the camera, we can't help but wonder what this creature is and what it wants. The nails on the hand are long and sturdy, adding to the feeling of unease that washes over us as we watch the footage. It's as if this creature has been living in the wild, using its hands to survive in a way that we can barely comprehend. The question that comes to mind: what kind of creature has hands like these? It's hard to ignore the possibility that this could be a Bigfoot, a legendary creature that has been the subject of countless sightings and encounters over the years. Perhaps this is a glimpse into the world of Bigfoot, a rare moment where it inadvertently reveals itself to us. As the footage ends, we are left with more questions than answers. Who or what was this creature? This story was shown all over news because of how strange everything surrounding it is. A Texas homeowner caught on his home security camera a bizarre sight, one he says has never seen before in 15 years since he's been living there. The owner has a front gate that he always keeps locked so his dogs do not run off. But one morning he found it wide open. Finding it strange, he went to his security camera to check what exactly happened.
So I wake up in the morning, I usually check because there's a notification, right, for the security software.
Once he took a view of the footage, he saw these photos taken by the security camera. A strange girl with long hair, dressed in a long white dress, appearing to be on his property in the middle of the night. These photos were taken around 1:50 a.m., a time where no one has any business out, especially not on someone else's property.
She came all up to the door because I have a storm door, a screen door. It was open.
After looking more closely and asking the neighbors, no one has yet been able to identify who that might be. The other neighbors mentioned that they did not see or heard anything strange that night, and their own security camera did not catch anything. The fact that no one in the surrounding area heard or saw anything out of the ordinary only adds to the mystery. It's as if the figure appeared out of thin air, then disappeared just as suddenly, leaving behind only the unsettling images captured by the security camera. So, who exactly was that? Why were they in the middle of the night on this guy's property, and why did everything look so eerie? Could this have been a ghost, a lost soul trapped between this world and the next? Or was it something even more sinister, a malevolent entity seeking to harm the homeowner and his family? The footage captured by the driver's dashboard camera in the middle of the night was truly bizarre. The dark, winding road through the forest was already unsettling, but what they encountered was beyond belief. A strange, slender figure was crouched in the middle of the road, appearing to struggle with its movements as it tried to stand up. It was difficult to discern any specific details about the creature,
but its movements were jerky and unnatural, making it clear that this was not a normal encounter. The driver, understandably frightened by this strange sight, began to slowly back away. But as they did so, a nagging thought began to take hold. What if this was a person in need of help? Despite the strange, almost otherworldly appearance of the creature, it did bear some resemblance to a human form. Perhaps this was an injured hiker, or someone who had been stranded in the woods for days. It would be wrong to simply abandon them. The driver wrestled with these conflicting thoughts for a moment, but ultimately decided that caution was the better part of valor. They tell that they slowly backed away from the creature, keeping a close eye on it in case it made any sudden movements, and chose to take another road around. Did they do the right things, or should they have gone out of the car to check what that was?
This clip is from the YouTube channel Brave Wilderness, from when they decided to wander in an area where Bigfoot is most often spotted. But for sure, they were not expecting to find a monstrous humanoid skull. Close to the end of their trip, they spotted something bizarre barely sticking from the ground. At first, they thought they found the skull of a bear, but as they were cleaning it and turning it around, they realized it did not look like a bear skull. The teeth and shape made it look like it was the skull of a great ape or a long-lost ancestor of Homo sapiens. It looked too bizarre to be of any animal that would be living in that area, and many people argued this could be the skull of a Bigfoot. But personally, I am not sure. It seems just too convenient that a skull this strange was just barely buried in the dirt, and they happened to find it while out on their quest to find Bigfoot. But what do you think? Do you think this is the skull of Bigfoot, an animal, or something else? This old clip is from Nat Geo TV, and it is footage from Russia of a supposed sighting of Bigfoot. The clip is taken by some kids with their old phones, so the quality is very poor. We can see the kids playing in the snow, but they notice some big footsteps in the snow. Not knowing any better, the kids decide to follow them to see where they lead. But they soon stop next to a forest because they think they spot something moving in the distance. They freeze with the thought it could be a bear, but as they look at the figure for a while, they recognize it is a tall, hairy, humanoid-shaped creature, which also seems to notice them. Once realizing it is spotted, the creature darts away deeper into the forest, which also makes the kids start running back. The kids explained the creature's face was white, and unlike the body, it had no hair on it. So did these kids spot Bigfoot? In this clip we can see some disturbing thing, some sort of dark-haired creature making its way through the forest. But its face looks more dog-like, and to be honest, it does look frightening at first look. People argued online that this creature is a werewolf, but to be honest, I am skeptical. The way it moves, always seeming to have its mouth open to frighten, seems too unrealistic. It looks more like a Halloween costume. So to me, rather than a werewolf, as others suggested, I think this is just a man with a suit trying to give us a fright. What do you think? This is a trail camera that caught some amazing moments. We can see right next to the camera a wolf doing its distinctive howl. Supposedly trying to communicate with its pack, perhaps calling them for a hunt. But what amazes me more is the second footage from another trail camera that caught the enormous size of a wolf pack. Just look at this pack making its way down the slope. There are so many of them, around 15 of them I think. And just think about how big wolves are. From what I know, wolf packs can reach up to 30 individuals. So just imagine being so unlucky to having to deal with a pack of that size in a forest. This clip was taken a few years ago in Kiev before the start of the war, but what it caught was really strange. As the person filming looks towards the pedestrian bridge, we can see someone under it, climbing. At first, I was thinking who would be crazy to do such a thing, but if we zoom the camera, we can see they do not really look like a human, and to me, the movement also seems too flawless to be of a human. Just imagine the necessary strength needed to be able to hold on to the bridge, not saying actually being able to go along it with such ease. I know there are people doing parkour who are pretty good with such difficult climbs, but the way it looks and how fast it moves, to me it does not seem natural for a human. So either that is an escaped monkey from the zoo, or there is something more bizarre going on here. What do you think this is? This footage is from the UK of a few boys who were fooling around in a cave, but while they were looking around they spotted a black figure crouched next to a stone pillar. Surprised but also frightened, they took a picture of it and ran backwards. And we can see exactly what they photographed. And at first they thought it is just some stray dog, because all we can make up is some sort of animal with black fur. Thinking it is funny, they went back with some sort of smoke grenade and tried to mess with it. But as they looked again, it looked clear it was not just some stray dog, but rather some sort of hairy creature slowly making its way towards them. The clip ends suddenly, and we can't really know what happened afterwards. Most likely they began running, if it was real. The creature to me looks like a goat, but the way it climbs that edge looks more human to me, so I am not sure what that is. Is it just some prank by a few kids, or did they catch something more bizarre? In this trail camera footage, we can see an encounter between a cat and a fox. They seem to be squaring each other for an egg in the middle. The fox seeming anxious to get its mouth on it, while the cat, being a good defender of the household, is trying to keep it at bay. From what I know, foxes are usually not scared of cats and they actually attack them, but this one is reluctant to get any closer to the aggressively hissing cat. What is even more amazing is that the cat also seems to be missing a front leg, and yet still does not back down from this encounter. Maybe this is also the reason she is so aggressive. She knows she does not have the option to outrun the fox. The fox tries to get closer a few more times, but the cat lunges again and again towards it, making the fox run away in the end. This couple was driving at night on an empty road and all seemed to be fine, but just as they were passing some bushes, they spotted something terrifying hiding in, a strange pale slender humanoid figure. After they passed it, they decided to turn around to have a second look at what they've just seen. Although the recording is even worse a second time, the first time they spotted the figure, it seems to be fully grey and slender. It did not look natural. To me, it did not look human. It was something resembling more of a skinwalker. So did they record a skinwalker, perhaps stalking for its next prey? This motion detection trail camera caught the unfortunate end of this deer as it was taking its last breaths surrounded by wolves. We can see that the wolves were still looking hesitant, so perhaps the deer still had some fight in it, but by the looks of it, this deer met its end on the spot, because it would have been really hard to get up from that position and be allowed by the wolves to escape. Although unfortunate for the deer, these are the rules of nature. The death of the deer means the survival of the wolf pack, but still an unfortunate sight caught by this trail camera. This camera spotted an unknown small hairy creature making its way around the backyard. It seems to be walking really fast on two legs, its body being also covered in hair, but seeming to have no arms from the looks of it. To me, rather than frightening, it looks a bit funny seeing this small ball of fur walking on its two little legs. But I'm also curious what exactly this is. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments down below.
This is the footage from the security cameras in a Manchester office from a few years ago, and they caught perhaps the best evidence of a poltergeist. For the first minutes of the recording, nothing is going on. It is just an empty office building. But exactly after 3 AM, things start getting creepier. The handle of a door moves as if someone was trying to open it. But just as we've just seen, no one is inside the building. It is completely empty. Soon after, the door next to it also has its handle move. And on camera 5 in the hallway, we can see a shadow moving across really fast. While on camera 9, inside the room with all the computers, we can see the screen of one of the computers come to life on its own for a few seconds. As time passes, more and more creepy things start happening. A chair moves on its own, but it is not just a little bit of movement. It is basically thrown all the way across the room. And same can be seen happening on camera 9 in the other computer room. While on camera 3, we can see the door handles going crazy this time, as if someone is desperately trying to open the doors. At this point, the entire building is going crazy. Drawers get open on their own. Chairs move around the room, and doors open and close on their own. All the while, creepy shadows can still be seen lurking in the hallways. After a while of all this craziness going on, everything stops and goes back to normal, as if nothing happened. But I am still wondering, what was all that? This trail camera recording shows us a strange sight besides the deer. As the deer is minding its business in this forest at night, we can see a strange orb of light which seems to be following along. Although orbs on cameras are not that uncommon because they can be caused by dust or moisture particles or even insects, this one we are seeing is acting very strangely, as if it is following the deer. The sudden erratic movement of the orb downwards also seems very strange. In the second part of the video, the orb is still present while the deer seems to be looking in its direction. It does seem that its gaze is directly following the orb's movements, as if it is seeing it. And what is stranger is that once the deer starts moving away, the orb seems to be following it. As said before, strange light orbs are common on cameras, but this one seems to be following a pattern, as if it is acting with a purpose. This clip is taken by the dash camera from a truck traveling at night on a deserted road. All seems normal for a while, until we can see something strange appearing on the right side of the lane. We can see a figure standing on the empty road, and it would be strange enough on its own to see someone standing on the side of an empty road at night. But this one is even scarier because the figure seems ghostly. If we zoom in closer, we can't really make up the shape of the body, except perhaps the fact that we can make up that the figure has 2 legs. I'm not sure if this could be a glitch with the dashcam or just a trick from the lights, because it seems too strange to be just that. But what do you think? This trail cam picture was sent by a viewer from Pennsylvania who said they caught a skinwalker on their trail camera. The image appears to have been taken during the day, and this is perhaps a motion detection camera that was set off by the mysterious figure we can see in the distance. Next to the tree, a hairless, slender creature can be seen lurking, perhaps trying to hide. Although it does seem to resemble a human, upon taking a closer look, it seems nothing like one. And I'll have to give it to the person who sent it. It does seem to resemble a skinwalker. And the more I look at it, the creepier it gets. Perhaps this was exactly the intent, because it could be someone disguised trying to make the owner of the trail camera get frightened by the images taken. This footage is from the security camera installed by some parents in the baby's room in order to check up on him, but what they saw in it straight up terrified them. In this recording, we can hear the babies crying. He seems to be really distressed, and I wonder why no one showed up to calm him down. The baby is trying really hard to get out of the crib, and we can see him managing to climb up on the crib's edges. He gets up on his two legs, but suddenly seems to be held up straight by something. You can imagine how impossible it would be for a kid his age to stand on his two legs, not even saying being able to hold his balance on that edge. The kid stands for a few good seconds in that position, all the while continuing to cry and yelling for his mom. After a while, the kid seems to just plunge down in the crib, continuing to cry. And many people on the internet, besides criticizing the parents for not showing up, also mentioned how strange the baby was standing on the edge, like it was possessed or held up by an invisible force. And looking again at it, just look at his legs and how stable he is standing. I'm not sure what are the chances for a baby of his age to do that on his own. This recording is from a couple messing around and looking inside what seems to be an abandoned mine. At first, they seem hesitant to get close, as if they are expecting something inside. We can see that the entrance is sealed off with some metal bars. They try to zoom in and look at what is beyond, but can't really see anything, so they decide to get closer to have a better look inside. As the guy places the camera next to the sealed off entrance and zooms in, he suddenly notices a pair of eyes appearing in the dark, looking directly at him. He's instantly startled by this sight and backs away, quietly telling his partner to go. So what was that? What were those eyes in the dark? Can they be just an animal? Or was it some sort of a creature hiding in the abandoned mine? In this clip, we can see some villagers approaching cautiously a goat. They seem to be poking with their sticks the goat for some strange reason, but we will soon see exactly why. As the camera approaches and we get a better view of the goat, we can see there is something black hanging from it. It seems to be latching onto it as a parasite, and a few moments later, we can see that the villagers made it lose its grip from the goat. The creature flees the side very quickly, like a shadow dragging across the ground. I thought that it might be a snake, but the way it looked for the first time we see it holding onto the goat, and the way it moves afterwards, seemed too strange for any snake. So what exactly was that? You can see the images taken by the GoPro of a biker. For a while everything is normal, but what is for sure, he is not prepared for the encounter he is about to have. Once he leaves the forested area and enters a narrowed, walled part, something jumps in front of him. Startled, he stops and takes a look behind him to see what it was, but the creature vanished completely. If we look in slow motion at the images, this thing does seem to resemble a monkey, but the biker said that what he saw was nothing close to a monkey. It had no fur, only grey skin, and it looked like a hybrid between a dog and a monkey. So what was that? Was it just a monkey and the biker got scared for nothing? Or was it something else? You can see someone driving along a road in one of the most known spots in the USA, not only for its history, but also for its ghostly sightings, Gettysburg. As the car is driving closer and closer to the cannons, we can see in the distance, suddenly, a ghostly apparition that seems to dart across the screen. If we look closer, it does seem to somewhat resemble the shape of a human, perhaps the soul of a long-gone soldier. But these apparitions on camera are not really that uncommon, because they can be just glitches of the camera. As scary as they might be the first time we see such videos, most of the time these are just due to different compression algorithms.
and sometimes they can just store visual changes in a place of the whole thing. Do you think this is the same in this case? In this trail camera footage, we can see some strange things appearing in front of the camera. Nothing can be seen anywhere else in the field. But it seems something is very close to the camera, as if it is inspecting it. I'm not sure what these lights are exactly caused by. It could be just some particles that got really close to the lens, but they do look weird, and I am sure this footage baffled its owner as well. Does anyone know what exactly caused all that? In this CCTV footage, we can see a girl trying to cross the street, but there are two incoming cars. She tries anyway, perhaps only noticing the first one, as the second driver is not stopping and is about to hit her. At that moment, we can see an individual quickly dashing and saving the little girl from the incoming crash. He places her at the end of the crosswalk and quickly runs away. The girl looks terrified and amazed at the same time by what happened, and the cars also seem to have noticed what happened because the drivers are not moving from that place. I'm not sure exactly what to make of this clip. My skeptical minds tell me that this is edited, but if it is so, it is a pretty good edit. What do you think? Is this real? As we venture deeper into the unknown, we often come across strange and inexplicable phenomena. Such was the case when the Indian Army reported sightings of the mythical creature known as the Yeti on an expedition at the MacLeod base camp in the Himalayan mountains. The creature, long thought to be a product of local folklore and superstition, was said to have left behind massive footprints, measuring an incredible 32 by 15 inches. These prints were unlike anything seen before, with their sheer size and depth indicating a creature of immense power and strength. As we look closer at these mysterious footprints, it becomes clear that they are far too large to belong to a human being, and certainly do not match any animal that we know about in that region. These prints are deeply caked into the snow, indicating the creature is of substantial weight and spaced far apart, suggesting a stride that is both monstrous and intimidating. And the size of these footprints is enough to send shivers down the spine of any seasoned explorer or adventurer. While some may be quick to dismiss such sightings as mere superstitions, it is important to note that the Yeti is not the only large, hairy creature said to exist in the world. Scientists have recently discovered the remains of a massive ape known as Gigantopithecus, which lived over 1 million years ago in South Asia and is estimated to have been as large as a polar bear. The Indian Army, upon posting this story, was highly ridiculed by the international community for believing in such things. But could it be that the Yeti, too, is a remnant of a long-extinct species surviving in remote corners of the world and leaving behind its massive footprints as evidence of its existence? Whatever the truth behind these mysterious footprints may be, one thing is certain: they are a testament to the enduring power of folklore and legend in our modern world, reminding us that there is still so much left to explore and discover. These type of videos just make my skin crawl. There's no way this can be human or even animal. It walks on all fours like an animal would, but its limbs are long and slender. It is not in a hurry, rather meandering past the camera. It appears to look up at one stage, revealing glowing eyes. It clogs the camera and then continues on. So what exactly is it? What are we looking at? Music in so many of these videos make the entire experience even more eerie, but I would have to say that I would be even more terrified if there was silence here. The night is dark and quiet, but these campers are relaxing by their campfire. The one filming seems to be enjoying exploring his new camera. Suddenly, the cameraman notices a faint glow in the distance. It's too small to be a campfire and too bright to be a star. The glow begins to move and then, all of a sudden, grows larger and brighter, and we soon realize the light is a pair of eyes. The eyes glow with an eerie red light and seems fixed on the campers. There's no way this can be an animal. The creature moves with terrifying speed, darting through the shadows and leaping over obstacles. It seems to be driven by a malevolent, almost supernatural force. At the end of the video, just as the campers are about to make their getaway, the camera zooms in and we can see that the eyes are set in a dark, shadowy figure. It's too far away to make out any details, but its size and shape suggests that it's not a creature we want to mess with. They flee into the night on their boat, leaving behind the ruined campsite and the creature with the glowing red eyes. If it weren't for the arrow, I wouldn't be sure where to look, but then the dogs alert us to the figure behind the tree. It is definitely not human, but is also not animal. The dogs are attentive, but they don't seem to be too concerned, except a few barks they make. As we watch the creature, we can see its movements are slow and deliberate. It appears to be observing us as much as we are observing it. The creature's long limbs might suggest it to be some sort of monkey, an ape perhaps. The fact that it hides so carefully behind a tree, however, is suspicious and unnerving. I can't believe the camera lady didn't see it. Thankfully, whatever it was, it didn't seem to mean any harm. The footage is dark and the camera hardly stays still, so it's not easy to see what appears to be an alien, but its silhouette is a strange, otherworldly shape. The body, spotted in the forest of El Paso, Colorado, seems elongated, and its skin is smooth, almost sleek, reflecting any light that manages to penetrate the darkness. Its head is large and round, with oversized lidless eyes that seem to glow in the dark. Despite its ominous appearance, the alien does not seem to be hostile. In fact, it almost appears afraid, hiding and pushing itself up against the tree. So what exactly are we looking at? Is this some kind of prank? As the man ascends over the hill, I can feel my nerves jumping. The man seems unsure of how to interact with the people and structures around him, as if he has been living in the wild his entire life. Like the cameraman says, this is some crazy stuff. Clearly the man has no language skills. He is almost animal-like, which leads me to believe that he is feral. He does seem to be wearing clothes, and he does seem harmless. One can't help but feel a sense of sympathy for him, knowing that he must be completely out of his element in this world. It is a pity the car had to drive away, as it would have been interesting to know more about the man. I can't help but wonder what his story is, how he came to be living in the wild, and what led him to venture out into civilization. Either that, or this was a setup for an interesting but fake encounter. I always watch these type of videos with my breath held. I can see the room is still, but I am waiting for whatever it is making itself known. What is it though? The first interaction we witness is the door at the end of the corridor open, only for it to slam shut soon after. The noise is alarming in the silence. A locker then starts to rock violently, growing in speed. The aggression of whatever it is then proceeds to fling papers out of another locker. The entity seems poltergeist-like, aiming its frustration then on the wet floor sign. I can't help but feel a sense of dread as the entity continues its rampage. The way it moves, the way it seems to target specific objects, suggests a level of intelligence that is all the more frightening. This is not some mindless ghost or spirit, but something with a purpose, something with a vendetta. What tormented soul is trapped in these holes, I wonder? We can see a man in a forest doing some trot singing, while being watched by a deer. However, as he moves the camera towards the deer, we can see something else in the distance. The creature is humanoid in structure, with long, pale limbs. It is hiding cautiously behind a tree, clearly not wanting to be seen. And the description of the clip refers to skinwalkers, and I've heard stories of skinwalkers before. creatures that can shapeshift in the form of any animal they choose. They're said to be powerful and dangerous, capable of incredible feats of strength and speed. If the figure in the distance is indeed a skinwalker, then we are dealing with something far beyond our understanding. As the video comes to an end, I'm left with more questions than answers.
This man heard something was on his roof, making noises and moving around. Although he was a bit scared, he went outside trying to get rid of it, thinking it must be a large bird or a lost cat. But he was not prepared for what he is about to see.
Okay. Get the other side. Oh, damn!
Once he looks on top of his house, he can see a pair of glowing eyes staring at him, while also hiding behind the roof.
Holy shit, alright. Son of a bitch is one on the other side of the house.
But once he gets to the other side of the house to see the creature better, he sees only a terrifying sight.
What the hell? Where'd it go? What is that?
What exactly did this man catch on camera on top of his house? Was it perhaps an owl that seems creepier than usual? Or was it some kind of cryptid? Considering the carcass it left behind, it seems really terrifying and likely that it was something out of the ordinary. These videos that I am about to show you come from Scott Carpenter, and he is certain that in the area where he lives, there lives at least one Bigfoot, but he is stranger than any one Bigfoot you've seen. He claims that this Bigfoot is a completely white one, and he has some evidence to show for that claim. He traversed the forests and took recordings of every journey, and with more long hours of going through every footage and enhancing it, he has found some strange sightings of something that's been stalking him all throughout his journey. He has spotted many times a white figure trying to hide near bushes or trees, while keeping a close eye on his movements. Scott's cameras managed to pick up multiple occurrences of this, but one of the best sights he caught was the creature's face. We can see the special color of the creature, which I am guessing isn't helping it hide at all in a green forest. But the creature also seems strangely creepy and cautious at the same time, as if he is fearing Scott. Could this be a mutation of the known Bigfoot creature? A mutation that made it completely white? This security footage was taken by someone who set up these cameras because they believe the house is haunted and wanted proof of that. And as you are about to see in this clip, the house certainly is haunted. We can see the woman sleeping in her room, everything starting out normal. But just a bit past 8 p.m., we can see the door of a small cabinet opening on its own. Soon after, the light inside it start going on and off. But creepier, the stand near her bed seems to move slowly, to a point where it hits the bed, as if to wake her up. Once she wakes up thinking she heard something, she calls after someone in the house, who immediately comes to comfort her.
Honey?
They go back into the room to check again, knowing something is not right, but decide they do not want to stay in that room any longer. But just a few seconds after they leave, this happens. The footage ends there, but we can all say with certainty, something is wrong in that house. Could it be a poltergeist playing with them? This security footage caught a creepy sight.
It seems to be placed in a house under construction, perhaps to see if anyone comes to steal any of the building materials. But as soon as this clip starts, we can see something coming out of the next room. It looks like the shadow of a man that is walking slowly, heading towards the next room. I am not sure whether it is the way the camera is set up, but the figure seems incredibly large, almost reaching the height of that tall door. It is truly a creepy sight. What exactly could it be? Is this some kind of a shadow ghost? Or is it just some flickering of the camera that created a creepy glitch on the screen? This hiker started recording with his phone while in the forest because he realized something might be stalking him. Although he shakes the camera a lot, perhaps due to being anxious, we can easily spot something in the distance, looking directly at him. The figure appears humanoid, but fully dressed in black, or perhaps black hair. Although the hiker managed to get out of the forest safely, he claims to have been shaken by what he saw that day, and is unsure himself of what he's seen, not knowing if it was a weird person following him around or something more creepy. Many claimed that is a Sasquatch, who got a bit too interested in this particular case and decided to follow him around. But given the bad quality of the video, I'm not so sure that is the case, when it can also be all a setup. What do you think? This elementary school principal from Nicholas County, West Virginia, had a terrifying jump scare. We can see him near a dumpster, trying to unlock it, but little does he know of what he is about to encounter inside it. As he removes the metal bar, keeping it closed, we quickly see it open. In that moment, a big, furry head pops out of the dumpster and greets the principal, who immediately gets scared and starts running for his life. The black bear climbs out of the dumpster and proceeds to also run in the other direction. We also have the footage of how the bear got inside it. A trail camera conveniently set up directly near the dumpster spots the bear as he just flips the metal lock bar, bends it upwards, and proceeds to squirm inside it. Apparently, the bear was not locked inside it, as it seems he can easily open and get out of the dumpster. So perhaps the principal just disturbed his post-meal nap. This camera caught the sight of a cub looking overly interested in something under the tree. We quickly realize the bear is actually attacking a scared animal who calls out for help. Having heard the pleas for aid, a fully matured deer quickly arrives at the scene and proceeds to gallop towards the bear. We can imagine beneath the fallen tree there is a baby deer who is making the calls for help. And he continues doing that because the bear does not seem that scared of the parent. Just as the parent is turning its back from the situation for some reason, the bear goes in for a quick bite on the baby deer. Thankfully, all parties got out alive from this situation, perhaps the bear disappointed of the missed meal, as we can see him continuing to chase after the two deer. This trail camera caught a terrifying and unexpected situation. An encounter of raw strength between two bears. We can see the sheer strength of their hits and bites, each of them fighting with all they have in what both parties expected to be a fight to the death. Both bears, realizing they might not want to risk it all, position themselves so that a tree is standing between them, which seems to defuse the situation a bit, as both parties seem to calm down. I remember the saying that if you ever get caught by a bear in a forest, use a tree between yourself and bear until it loses interest. It does seem to work in this clip, but I am not sure it would work as smoothly for a human against a bear. This trail camera caught an adorable sight. 3 cubs playing around in the cornfield. The raw strength we've seen in our previous video seems to have instantly vanished when looking at the younglings. We can see that they are standing near a house and a large fence surrounding the area, so they might in fact be in a natural reservation, and I am somewhat pleased by that, because it increases their survival. As we all know, a mother bear usually loses between 25 to 50% of all cubs until they are 1-year-old. So these 3 little guys have a lot more chances. These remarkable images, captured at Big Creek Lake in Wilmer, Alabama, have ignited a wave of speculation and wonder. From the very first glance, it becomes apparent that we may be in the presence of the legendary and elusive creature known as the Bigfoot. The creature in display possesses a thick coat of fur enveloping its entire body. However, as we dare to examine the images more closely, its towering stature more closely resembles that of an ape, more of a gorilla. Notably, unlike most purported Bigfoot sightings caught on camera, this particular specimen appears comparatively smaller in size. One can't help but wonder, could this be an elaborate disguise? A man in a costume aimed at playing an unsettling prank on unsuspecting observers? Deep in the woods in Oklahoma, a hunter captures a chilling encounter running across a trail camera and is convinced he's captured the famous Bigfoot. We had to zoom in quite a bit to scrutinize the explicit humanoid blur. Notice how the bipedal subject was moving so fast that the camera was not able to take a clear picture. Is it because the subject was really fast? Or is it done intentionally so that we cannot tell it is fake? Its ghastly pale form takes on a somewhat otherworldly appearance, eerily similar to a cryptid entity. The overall structure seems really sturdy, a human-like form, but a bit different. Could this be the dreaded Sasquatch moving at an incredible speed? Or is just a normal human who was caught in a weird way by the camera? This security camera caught some bizarre footage under the cover of darkness. Amidst a tranquil garden, a chilling sight unfolds. The video captures a mysterious figure lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, the camera glitches as if someone was tampering with it. What sends chills behind our backs is when the figure suddenly starts being enveloped in an incredibly bright light, as if it points a flashlight directly at the security camera. This prompts the homeowner to go to investigate what was lurking in the darkness. Upon arriving outside, she doesn't find anything, but she explains where the figure was standing.
Here's the area, the camera points to. Who would it be out here in the pitch black? Did you hear that?
Her voice is filled with awe and confusion, as she doesn't comprehend what could be terrorizing them. Could it be a prank play or something more sinister that would pay them another visit in the future? This was captured on a security camera in a remote location where, at a time, the owner explained, no one was out due to rain and cold. This woman was seen wandering around that area, pacing back and forth for 20 minutes. No one knows why. It seems as if she's lost. A second security camera in another vantage position captures her going in the back of a certain house. Moments later, she is seen withdrawing back to the woods. From her body language, she seems lost and doesn't know where she is. We can also see her as she staggers in her walking. Could she be under the influence of some drugs? What could she be doing in the middle of the night, outside by herself? Could she be intoxicated or a victim of abduction, searching for help or a path to assistance? If that is the case, why did she not knock the door of one of the nearby houses? The owner of this footage has no answers, as they could not find the mysterious woman in the morning. In a more sinister case, this clip captures an unnerving event of what looks like an old woman approaching the front door of a certain house. Her looks towards the house door at such a late hour seem disturbing enough. But what is more terrifying is that she seems to be holding something in her hand. By the looks of it, this creepy lady is standing in front of this house with a knife, perhaps waiting for someone. Nervously, she gazes upon the blade with an eerie fixation. Is she trying to muster the courage to do whatever she had in mind to begin with? What malevolence could she be planning? Imagine if someone came out from the house and finds this creepy lady? To be honest, I think she might be suffering from some type of mental illness, as she does not seem to be in her right mind. But it is scary to think what could have happened if someone opened the door. In this household, the owner installed a motion tracking camera because strange things kept happening in the house. She is familiar with the events and complains that this is not the first time strange things happened. Before the video begins, something must have happened, as she seems concerned about the cat, calling it to come to her. But we soon see that the door starts moving, as if someone is meddling with it. When she approaches the door, it is clear that no one is there. Could it be a ghostly apparition? Her cat also is aware of the uncanny presence of the unknown, and seems to be spooked. She even goes to the back of the door and talks to the ghost, as if this is all too familiar to her. She curses to whatever that's behind the door and tells it to leave the door alone. But once the woman begins petting and trying to calm down the cat, something creepier happens. The lady seems overwhelmed by these ghostly activities, as if she's experienced this over and over again. This unsettling video comes to a conclusion, but one question lingers in the minds of those who have witnessed it. What insidious forces inhabit this house? Is it a poltergeist, trying to make its presence known? One night, the mother of a daughter was notified by her camera application that motion was detected in the room. The mother, not knowing what is going on in the middle of the night, checks the monitor, only to see a scary sight. We can clearly see something running across the screen next to the kid's bed. Even the motion camera moves a bit, following the figure's movement. Soon after, the mother comes to the room and asks her child if she has a cat in her room. It becomes more peculiar when the child responds that there was no cat in the room.
Is there a cat in here? Is there a cat in here? No.
It becomes clear that surely it might be a ghost cat because the mother wrote about this footage online, saying they recently had to put down their family cat due to illness, and that might be her soul still lingering next to the child. who she had a loving relationship with. In 2017, this trail camera in East Texas Davy Crockett National Forest caught an uncanny sighting at night in a remote location. In this picture, we can see a figure of what appears to be a woman walking around alone in the forest. This is definitely a creepy sight because of the fact that it was captured on a trail camera at a time where certainly no one would be walking around alone in the wilderness. The park rangers were not able to track her, and no one was reported missing around that area. Was this truly a person we've witnessed? Could she be lost or a fugitive? Or did this trail camera catch a ghost? In the still of the night, this trail camera caught what appears to be a slender shadow running across the front yard of a house. When we slow down the recording, as the figure is running, one might assume it to be a normal human being. But as it goes past, it starts vanishing and disappears into the thin air. This footage is really strange, and what transpires is really mysterious. At a closer range, from its pale figure and almost invisible like stature, one can conclude it to be a ghostly apparition. But it could also be a glitch with the recording camera, as this type of things are known to happen with cheaper equipment, where a person's body is no longer processed by the camera, and thus it appears to vanish. A trail camera picks up an unusual sight of a creature fumbling with the camera. Only fur from the animal can be seen. The creature had come around and spotted the camera, and perhaps out of curiosity, it tries to figure what the object is. In the process, it reveals its face, and we can see it's a bear. The bear, with its large paws and inherent wilderness, inadvertently damages the camera as it forcefully rips it off, showcasing its inability to handle delicate objects. This woman heard some crows going crazy in the forest, and she began filming in case they start again. She tries to look for the crows in the sky, but she finds none. But her camera catches something else in the forest, lurking. In between the trees, she sees a figure that catches her eyes. Amongst the trees, a dark hulking image that appeared in one frame. The figure appears to be a large, hairy creature, potentially resembling the mythical Bigfoot. Descriptions of the creature vary, but it is generally depicted as a large bipedal humanoid covered in fur. What even seems scarier is when the creature lifts up its arm and seems to wave at the woman. The woman obviously freaks out, as it is indeed a frightening sight to see while walking all alone in a forest. Although the video does not show anything more, and we get a very brief sight of the creature, it still raises the question of whether she may have captured a glimpse of the legendary Sasquatch or Bigfoot. This is a recording from a ranger who was conducting a survey in a remote area when he noticed something strange in the depths of the field. The ranger flashes his spotlight scanning the area when he sees a peculiar white figure. Sensing it is being watched, it swiftly crawls behind a tree to hide. The ranger maintains the flashlight in the specific area, and 5 seconds later, it is seen emerging from the shadows, creeping stealthily between the trees, going in deeper in the woods. When we zoom in the footage, the creature bears a haunting resemblance to the infamous rake that at times walks on its fours, giving an illusion of a crawling figure. A police officer is called out to investigate a disturbance in a certain area, because apparently, neighbors complained a man had been screaming for almost over an hour. Upon arriving at the scene, it seems as if the screams had abruptly ceased. He constantly uses his flashlight to search any signs of the unusual, as he cautiously proceeded down the road, but his flashlight suddenly illuminates a chilling sight at the far end of a branching road on his right. A pale and ghostly figure appeared to be sitting down. Without warning, it rises and starts darting towards the officer. The sheriff is spooked and becomes alerted. He immediately turns around away to flee from the imminent danger. After a close inspection, one can recognize the unknown figure to be one of the cryptids from its humanoid figure, white-like complexion and elongated limbs. The authenticity of the video is of course a matter of debate. However, there is no denying the strange and unsettling nature of the creature that is captured on film. Whether it is a real creature or simply a clever hoax, the video is sure to spark curiosity and speculation. A security camera captures a peculiar occurrence in a backyard in Weslaco, Texas. In the dead of the night, when it is devoid of any activities, a small girl is seen walking hurriedly from the back of a storehouse across to the other end. One can easily wonder what a young girl could be doing walking casually in the middle of the night. The small girl seems to be in a white dress and seems to be all alone. The owner claims there isn't any young girl in their house or living in their vicinity, hence why he thought this site is so creepy. At a closer range, from its pale figure and almost invisible-like stature, one can conclude it to be a ghostly apparition. We also have a continuation, as the owner, baffled by what he saw, went on to investigate the surrounding area of his backyard. The area is scary and seems to be empty, not one trace of a person having been there. The man goes to the fence of the yard and records the eerie darkness, but nothing out of ordinary can be seen. So what exactly did the camera catch? Was it a glitch with the recording, or did it really catch a glimpse of the immaterial? Looking at this video, one can just see a normal grass field, but upon closer inspection, the young creature comes into clarity. It resembles a meerkat or a mongoose, but when analyzed, many people claim the creature is taller and wider from a normal mongoose. From its structure, one can distinguish the small creature has long arms and elongated small claws. It is also visible that it is covered in black fur and has some orange smudge on its head. The description may resemble that of a baby Bigfoot, or it could be a photoshopped image of one's intention trying to spook its audience. What do you think?
In this intriguing video, a man in the wild captures a distant and unusual sight. Far off in the distance, there appears to be a humanoid creature, its form and movements unlike any typical wildlife. Intrigued, the man tries to zoom in with his camera, hoping to get a clearer view and perhaps identify what this mysterious figure might be. However, as soon as he starts zooming in, the creature begins to move away, vanishing from sight before the man can get a better look. The brief and distant encounter leaves us with more questions than answers. Was this an undiscovered creature, a trick of the light, or perhaps just a person in the distance, misperceived due to the setting? In my view, while the possibility of an unknown humanoid creature stirs the imagination, it's more likely to be a case of mistaken identity or optical illusion, especially given the creature's quick disappearance and the distance involved. In this video, a man ventures into the green woods as dusk falls, casting a dim light through the trees. He's using a flashlight to navigate and explore. As he moves the light around, something startling catches his attention. A pair of glowing eyes peering at him from behind the foliage. The sight is eerie, the eyes shining in the darkness amidst the green leaves. The glowing eyes in the dim forest create a spooky atmosphere. It's a common occurrence in the wild for certain animals' eyes to reflect light, giving them an otherworldly glow. The question arises, what kind of creature is watching from the shadows? Is it a nocturnal animal native to the woods, or something more mysterious? Given the setting and the nature of wildlife, my opinion leans towards the eyes belonging to a forest animal,
perhaps a deer or a raccoon. The woods at night can make even the most familiar creatures seem mysterious and unnerving. In a video captured by a surveillance camera overlooking a wooded path, a startling event unfolds. A boy is walking along the path when, suddenly, a black, translucent shadow with a human shape appears from one side. In an unexpected and chilling moment, the shadowy figure seems to push the boy. Startled and knocked off balance, the boy quickly gets up. Then, just as abruptly as it appeared, the shadow vanishes, leaving the boy alone and understandably frightened, prompting him to run away. This mysterious encounter raises questions about what the shadow could be. It looks like a ghost, especially with its translucent appearance and the way it interacts with the boy. While the idea of a ghost is intriguing and fits the eerie nature of the video, it's also worth considering other explanations like a trick of light or a reflection that created an illusion of a human shape. In this video, a security guard is walking through the halls of a hospital, recording his routine patrol. The hospital corridors are quiet and seemingly ordinary. However, as he turns a corner, something unusual and unsettling occurs. A humanoid figure briefly appears from behind a corner and then, just as suddenly, vanishes into thin air. The brief appearance of this figure in the sterile clinical setting of a hospital adds to the eeriness of the encounter. Was it just another person in the hospital? Perhaps a patient or a staff member playing a prank? Or could it be something more mysterious, like a ghost, given the way it disappeared so abruptly? Considering the setting and the nature of the incident, it's tempting to lean towards a supernatural explanation. This hunter caught one of the most amazing footage of Bigfoot while he was standing on his deer stand, waiting for some hunt. But he quickly realizes that the forest is home to more than just deer, as he begins to spot a big humanoid figure stalking.
What in the world is that thing? Didn't look like a deer.
This went on for 20 minutes, as this Bigfoot seemed to inspect the area, as if he knew something was off about this area. If we zoom in on the creature, it appears fully covered in brown hair with a big and frightening body, while at the same time moving as if he was fully confident to be in that forest. But what came after was truly terrifying. Deep howls in the forest, as if calling for someone, or threatening anyone who would dare to enter its domain. The hunter at this point was frightened enough and quickly forgot any idea of hunting deer that day.
I've never seen anything like that before in my whole life. I'm out of here.
These captivating photographs were captured by a motion detection trail camera equipped with night vision capabilities. We can immediately see an enigmatic figure, an anomaly amidst the natural backdrop of the forest. The subject of these photographs is undeniably strange. Its humanoid appearance is unmistakable, yet it lacks the conventional attire associated with humans. Instead, its entire form is enveloped in a dense covering of hair, evoking a sense of primal wilderness. Examining the creature's physique, we are drawn to its remarkably elongated arms, reminiscent of those found in monkeys or apes, which I am pretty sure are not freely roaming the USA. The creature's robust build further defies easy classification, leaving us perplexed and in search of answers. Many people have proposed that these images may capture a creature of legend, the elusive and mysterious Bigfoot. Tales of this legendary creature have persisted for generations, often described as a towering being inhabiting remote wilderness areas. And as we've seen in previous videos, there are more and more sightings of these beings. Could we finally get closer to finding the truth? In the heart of the dense forest, nestled in his cabin, a man finds himself thrust into a spine-tingling encounter. The tranquility of his surroundings is shattered by a bone-chilling sound that reaches his ears. An unmistakable growl that resonates through the trees.
For whatever reason, they're pretty close to the house this morning. Just out of sight, like usual. I gotta get to the truck to get to work. I don't really want to leave this porch.
The man listens intently. The growl, while reminiscent of a bear, carries an unusual depth that sets it apart from the familiar. It fills the air, signaling the presence of a creature that is not to be taken lightly. Whatever might be out there, the man says this creature seems to be pretty close by the sounds, but he does not seem to be fazed by that. But he says that he does not want to leave his house for work, considering what might be waiting out there. This footage is from somewhere in North Australia, and we can see three guys who are posing for a photo, when in fact, the person holding the camera was filming them. As they are setting up their poses for the photo, the camera caught something bizarre passing behind them. The creature that passed them triggered a sense of intense fear, as we've just seen. Upon closer examination, slowing down the footage grants us a glimpse of this enigmatic creature. It defies conventional categorization, seemingly merging characteristics of both a dog and a human. Its elongated limbs resemble those of a human, yet they possess a slender, otherworldly quality. Cloaked in darkness, it traverses the terrain gracefully, utilizing all four limbs to move with an unsettling agility. This trail camera caught a strange sight in the middle of a forest at night. We can see some lights appear and disappear in the distance. According to the owner, there is no house in sight, and the forest is dense enough. There aren't many people traveling in that forest, and it would be especially strange for someone to be in it at that hour. The way the light moves from one part to another also seems strange. Could it be just some hikers lost in the forest, or is it something else? Has somebody else encountered things like this? We can see this video from the viewpoint of one of the bikers who are going through a thick Asian forest by the looks of it. For a long while, nothing weird is going on. They are just going through the forest, enjoying the sunny day.
Hey, good job.
At some point, they get off their bikes for a rest, and the biker leaves his camera on a rock. But suddenly, one of the bikers spots something, not understanding what he's seeing.
That?
They go to investigate, but can no longer find what they initially spotted. But if we replay the clip in slow motion and zoom into what they saw, we can find a bizarre sight. Some sort of a creature with long arms and really sharp and long fingers, looking like some dangerous claws. The creature moves away from the rock as they spot it, perhaps being spooked by the bikers. So what exactly was that? It is indeed a very strange and scary sight, but is it real? I find it hard to believe that someone in a forest, upon spotting some sort of creature stalking, would just go closer to investigate. But what do you think? A group of individuals stumbled upon a peculiar discovery near a river that left them both intrigued and unsettled. The object in question possessed an eerie and unusual appearance. But what made it even more disconcerting was the fact that it appeared to be in motion. As the person is cutting into it, the tissue seemed to come back together, which makes it even scarier. Curiosity led me to search online for similar occurrences, and I came across something known that looks similar, but I am not sure if they are the same as what we see in this video. These are known as to-be-fixed worms. These worms are fascinating creatures that have the ability to densely pack themselves together, giving the illusion of living tissue. They are commonly found in the sediment of lakes, rivers, and even occasionally in sewer lines. But even with a logical explanation, encountering these worms in such environments can be a bizarre and bewildering experience. And let me know if you think what we've seen in the original video can't be that. The footage captured by a CCTV camera reveals a truly peculiar occurrence. In the dead of night, when the streets are devoid of activity, an unexpected sight unfolds. From the corner of the frame, a movement catches our attention, drawing us closer to the scene. Within moments, a humanoid figure emerges, seemingly leaping effortlessly from the ground onto the top of a nearby wall. Balanced on all fours, it maintains an uncanny pose before swiftly descending and disappearing from view. Upon closer examination, the figure appears to possess the general shape and appearance of a human being. However, there are distinct aspects that defy conventional understanding. The creature's movements exhibit an extraordinary level of agility and coordination, surpassing what is typically observed in humans. The fluidity and grace with which it traverses the environment leave us questioning its true nature. Could this enigmatic presence be attributed to a cryptid, a creature of folklore or myth, venturing out under the cover of darkness, searching for its next unsuspecting victim? This security footage, captured inside a bar, offers a glimpse into a seemingly ordinary night. People come and go, engaged in lively conversations and enjoying their drinks. The atmosphere appears relaxed and uneventful until the late hours when closing time approaches. The scene transitions, leaving only the bartender and two other individuals within the frame. Unexpectedly, an eerie occurrence takes place. The chair positioned closest to the camera begins to move of its own accord. It sways gently back and forth, initially unnoticed by the three men engrossed in their work. As the chair continues its rhythmic rocking, it eventually falls right onto the floor. The sudden commotion captures their bewildered expressions as they investigate the peculiar incident. Together, they promptly restore the chair to its rightful place, but still wondering what caused it to fall. However, unbeknownst to them, as they focus their attention on the fallen chair, a subtle presence passes by in the background. Upon closer scrutiny of the footage, a ghostly figure emerges, bearing the likeness of a child. Its translucent form suggests a spectral entity, perhaps that of a playful spirit lingering within the bar's walls. Could it be the mischievous ghost of a child, finding amusement in pranks enacted upon unsuspecting people during the late hours?
We're gonna pull a catfish on board. Whoa, pissed off. Look. He's definitely alive.
He's like, I'm eating that. You're not taking my food from me.
This footage is from a few people who found one of the strangest sights you can find in a lake. A giant catfish with something stuck in its mouth. The people inside the boat come closer and try to pull it, thinking that it is dead. However, as they do that, they quickly realize it is still alive and kicking. After a while, they get a hold of the fish, and we can clearly see what is stuck inside its mouth, a turtle. This fish, as big as it is, went for something too large for its mouth and got stuck in this situation. The people on board try to get the turtle out, but it seems to be stuck there. They pull the catfish on board and continue trying to pull the turtle.
There we go. Oh! Okay.
After a while, the guy manages to get the turtle out, which looks completely filthy from being inside that fish for so long. The people on board decided it's best to release the catfish after such an experience. Thankfully, in the end, both the turtle and the catfish got out well of that sticky situation. At 12 minutes past 3, in the secluded woods, a trail camera picks up an unusual sight. A hand or a foot appears before the lens. But it is clearly not human. With black skin and short, stubby nails, the limb certainly belongs to some ape-like creature. There is nothing else to let on what the limb belongs to. There is no protruding hair, usually accompanied by an ape. So, is this indeed one? Or could it belong to a more recluse creature, such as a Bigfoot? The nails also look very sharp for a human or ape. They look like they belong to a predator, so could it be a wolfman rather than Bigfoot? What do you think? Let's take a moment to catch our breath and slowly let it out, because even we aren't quite sure how this girl ended up in the middle of nowhere, late at night, in a clearing surrounded by woods. At least to me, it looks to be a girl in a white robe in the middle of the forest at midnight. She looks young and completely alone, wearing nothing but a nightdress and going barefoot. Her long hair hangs loosely around her shoulders, adding to the mysterious vibe. And guess what? She's actually walking away from the camera. The weird ghostly blur around the lens doesn't give us much to go on, leaving us scratching our heads and longing for some much-needed clarity. Could it be something else on the lens that gives the appearance of a ghost? This is another video where the innocence of animals can be observed. However, in another more sinister case. This beautiful dog sits at attention by its master's back door, and it watches the surroundings, as if waiting for something. The master is the one who has set up the camera, because they had become aware of their dog's unusual habit of sitting at the back door at night, and sometimes even barking violently, only for the owner to see nothing outside, and so they wanted to try and see what it was that made their beloved pet so unnerved. It is silent. It dare not make a noise. However, there is something creepy going on. A tapping on the window which does not sound normal. Perhaps a creak of a wooden floor. There is not a shadow of a doubt that there is something trying to get inside. Or is it already inside? If you focus on the blinds on the door, you will notice them slowly rise during the course of the video. The dog certainly notices. It is when they start to lift that the dog utters a small cry. It tilts its head to follow the path of the blinds. But it does not run away in terror. It takes its duty as protector of the house seriously. So, it waits and watches. If we were fortunate enough to witness this video, accompanied by audio, there is no doubt that the tremor of fear and the piercing notes of desperation would reverberate through the voices of these men. As the footage starts, our attention is fixed on the distant horizon, oblivious to the impending spectacle that is about to unfold. Suddenly, the very fabric of the horizon undergoes a transmutation, evolving and expanding before our eyes. It is as if an immense ocean monster stirs from its slumber. The men, caught in the grip of sheer panic, swiftly comprehend the malevolence within this titanic force of nature. Their panic skyrockets, their voices cracking with fear as they realize the imminent danger that looms. We can only assume the colossal wave, defying all expectations, continues to surge higher and higher, seemingly reaching for the heavens themselves. In this heart-stopping moment, every instinct screams at the men to flee, to escape the wrath of this unforgiving force. Yet, with each passing second, the towering wall of water grows more menacing, instilling a sense of helplessness in the face of nature's unrelenting power. Mushrooms, but these look awfully creepy. The mushrooms we are confronted with in this peculiar video defy conventional notions of aesthetics, and most likely taste as well. They appear to be something out of this world, a mysterious anomaly in the realm of fungi. Rising defiantly from the ground, these extraordinary specimens stretch their sinewy forms toward the heavens above. In the footage, the cameraman, driven by curiosity, employs a tool to make contact with these extraordinary mushrooms, attempting to provoke a response. Astonishingly, the mushrooms react to his touch, exhibiting a responsiveness that defies our expectations. Such behavior is unlike anything we have encountered in nature. The very nature of these fungi remains shrouded in mystery, leaving us wondering if they are indeed mushrooms or something altogether different. We are first met with the cutest of faces. A young seal sits aboard a boat, yet another example of an innocent animal. It hides, however, from another animal that might not be as innocent. The camera pans to the water, and we are met with the fearsomely majestic orca whales. The woman doing the filming turns her attention back to the seal, asking it where it came from.
Where did you come from? I never even seen you out there.
She already suspects why it has come aboard. It is when she turns the camera directly below the boat that our heart catches in our mouth. The orca whales, presumably suspecting the location of the seal, circle her boat. Their large mass is an imposing sight. We soon learn that there are at least 4 orca whales around the woman's boat. We can hear the desperation and fear in her voice as she repeats over and over that she doesn't know what to do.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do.
The situation is a fierce predicament. Her very life is in peril because of the seal she is harboring. If she sends the seal to the water, it will very surely die. If she does not, however, there is a good chance that she might. The power and majesty of nature is intimidating. The depths of our oceans hold a myriad of strange and unsettling creatures, some of which have been immortalized in historical accounts and folklore. We are familiar with legends of colossal beings like the Kraken and the Megalodon. Yet, amidst our knowledge, there exists a certain creature that eludes our understanding. This beast defies the natural order, a grotesque mutation that amalgamates the traits of an insect and a cockroach, but on a scale that defies imagination. It is the Megalodon of cockroaches, a creature so colossal and formidable that it takes the combined strength of over 9 grown men to contain it. Just like its tiny earthly counterparts, it boasts the unmistakable pincers and leg structure of a cockroach. However, what sets it apart are the peculiar wings adorning its scaly body. The origins of this creature remain shrouded in mystery. Has humanity managed to track down and eradicate the last remnants of its species? Or perhaps, was there only ever one of its kind? I did some digging around this, and it seems pictures such as the one you've just seen, or this one, are in fact fake and created by an artist who I have included in this video's description if you are interested in seeing more of his artworks. I am just amazed at how real they look. Concealed within the thick foliage, a group of adventurous tourists find themselves in a remarkable and unsettling situation. Emerging gracefully from the bushes are a majestic grizzly bear and her 2 adorable cubs. Contrary to expectations, the bears exhibit a serene demeanor, devoid of any signs of aggression. The fortunate tourists are granted a rare and awe-inspiring encounter with these magnificent creatures. Amidst the mixture of fear and wonder, they understand the precariousness of the situation. However, against the odds, they manage to navigate this encounter unscathed, preserving both their lives and the memory of this unforgettable experience. The cameraman finds himself in a situation filled with mixed emotions of worry and excitement. Faced with a mysterious being, possibly Bigfoot, he quickly instructs his loved ones to seek safety indoors while he embarks on a pursuit.
Get in the house! Get in the house!
The anticipation builds as the large, hairy creature moves cautiously along the side of a forest road, eventually vanishing into the dense foliage. Amidst the pursuit, occasional grunts and ape-like hoots pierce the air, hinting at the creature's presence. These vocalizations could be interpreted as warnings, signaling to the cameraman to back off and maintain distance. The creature's intent becomes clearer through its vocal communication, urging caution on the cameraman's part. The cameraman's decision to heed the warning serves as sound advice, considering the creature's imposing size and evident strength. In the beginning of the video, we are immediately drawn to the peculiar movement of a hospital bed. At first glance, one might assume that the bed is being influenced by a gentle breeze or wind, but upon closer observation, it is clear that the movements are erratic and seemingly independent. The lack of movement in the surrounding environment, such as twigs or leaves, just emphasizes the unusual nature of the movement. The behavior of the bed suggests a sense of playfulness of an unknown entity. Rather than being a result of external forces, it appears as though the entity itself is actively engaging with the hospital bed. The back and forth rolling motion shows a deliberate action, as if the entity is enjoying the interaction and finding amusement in manipulating the bed. On August 31st, 2009, two hikers exploring the Tatra Mountains in Poland unexpectedly came across a fascinating sight: a dark figure standing out against the pristine white snow. The creature, resembling the legendary Bigfoot or Sasquatch, possesses a remarkable size and height. As it descends the rocky terrain, the creature remains unaware of the hiker's presence. The cameraman's reactions demonstrate a mix of curiosity and alarm, although they consider the possibility that the creature might be a large man. The remote location of the mountains raises questions about how such an individual could have arrived there. On July 28th, deep within the darkened halls of Stanley Palace, two intrepid ghost hunters set out on a quest to unravel the mysteries that lay dormant within its haunted confines. Stanley Palace, a 16th century mansion in Chester, England, holds a haunting past. Built on an old priory site, it has a rich history tied to the Civil War and has witnessed paranormal activity. Visitors and volunteers report strange happenings, including disembodied sounds of children, the apparition of James Stanley, 7th Earl of Derby, a malevolent spirit called Blackfriars, and a woman playing the piano. Stanley Palace is a supernatural hotspot, just as you can see in this video. As they navigate the haunted location, they become unwitting participants in a chilling encounter. However, it is not until they review the footage later on that they discover a startling revelation. Upon rewinding the recorded footage and zooming in, the ghost hunters notice the presence of a face peering over the balustrade, seemingly observing them from above. This glimpse of a ghostly visage confirms the paranormal activity they had suspected during their investigation. The sight of a face appearing unexpectedly, especially in a place known for its haunting, is unnerving. It raises questions about the identity of the apparition and the nature of its connection to Stanley Palace. The orbs floating around right from the beginning also contribute to the ethereal atmosphere. This is an aerial image that will freeze your blood, a colossal snake that stretches menacingly across the frame. This was caught by a helicopter surveying the lands of Congo when it caught one of the scariest sights one can find in nature. The green things all around it should be trees, so just compare it to that to understand how insanely big this thing is. The photograph, captured in haunting black and white, intensifies the bone-chilling aura. allowing your mind to fill in the details of the snake's ebony scales and the murky depths it lurks within. The very thought of encountering such a beast sends a tremor of unease. Its sheer magnitude hints at the power and primal force it possesses. How does such a creature survive and thrive in the untamed depths of the Congo? The Congo, with its vast and unexplored wilderness, provides the perfect backdrop for this enigma. Its large forests and untamed rivers serve as a sanctuary for elusive creatures, and many such gigantic creatures have been spotted, not only in Congo, but in many other parts of the world. In the face of this fear-inspiring creatures, you can't help but feel a primal sense of dread. Our suspense thickens as we delve deeper into the photograph, attempting to decipher the enigmatic figure. To unravel its true nature, we had to zoom in quite a bit. We scrutinized the explicit humanoid blur that emerges from the tall, dense crop growth. Could it be a mere human, or does the unearthly setting suggest an extraterrestrial origin? Standing tall and upright, the figure casts an eerie silhouette against the backdrop of the towering crops. Its pallid complexion further adds to its unearthly presence, hinting at an otherworldly origin. The blurry quality of the figure accentuates a sense of swift movement, as if it is traversing the landscape with unparalleled speed. So did the owner of this trail camera catch a cryptid on the move, or is it just some trick of the camera?
In this video, we witness a speedboat cutting through the water, and right behind the boat is an exceptionally odd-looking creature. This creature is leaping out of the water like a dolphin, but its head shape is genuinely strange. While it might be a seal following the boat, its eyes reflecting the camera's flashlight give them an otherworldly appearance. If indeed this is a seal, it's astonishing to observe how proficiently they move and how swiftly they can navigate the water, despite their hefty body structure. Nevertheless, even if it's a seal, the sight of this creature following the boat was undeniably strange for the passengers. It adds a bit of an eerie touch to their otherwise casual boat ride. While watching this video, I felt genuinely concerned about the identity of this creature and the origins of the video. Unfortunately, there wasn't much information available. In this unsettling footage, we see someone standing in front of a car, signaling it to do something. The creature appears humanoid, but has a rather strange and unconventional shape. If it's an animal, it seems to be naked with no fur on its body. Its limbs are thin, and its head has an unusual, almost alien-like appearance. The way this creature is signaling the car to veer into the bushes and darkness is exceptionally peculiar. What might its motives be? Does it intend to lure passengers there for sinister purposes? The answers remain a mystery. This is the strange sight some hikers found in some forests. Could it be a lost orangutan strolling the forest, or a backpacker with seriously long arms? Or is it perhaps the legendary Sasquatch? The long-limbed creature steps out from behind the dense foliage and strolls through, the camera following its every move. Fortunately, whatever it is, it doesn't seem to be aware of the camera. Its face is ape-like, which would contribute to the idea of it being some type of orangutan. It does not look in our direction, but walks determinedly. I would love to know which forest this is in. Unfortunately, we do not get to see more of this strange creature, but it does raise the question of whether this is a lost species of humans, as we can see how human-like it appears. Glowing white eyes in the dead of night. From out of the darkness can barely be seen a shape, a moving creature. It is rumored to be the Australian yowie. Some individuals believe that yowies could be the Australian equivalent of Bigfoot, although there are different accounts regarding the creature. It is believed that this creature inhabits the outback and other remote areas of Australia. Opinions on the creature's behavior vary, with some describing it as timid or shy,
while others claim it to be violent and aggressive. I think it is safe to say that whatever this creature is, it is a terrifying one we would all want to avoid meeting in the forest. With its large forehead, we can almost imagine it to be a gorilla of sorts. Its movements are rapid and jerky. It seems to be hiding, but from what? Does it know it is being watched from this trail camera? These homeowners heard some strange sounds outside their home, and they started recording the outside. And what they saw was terrifying, as the owner started calling someone on his phone. Deep within the darkness, something seems to be moving. The creature remains still to begin with, hiding in the distance and watching. It then moves over to the side slightly and comes closer to the camera. I can't be sure if there is a time lapse on this video, but it seems that the frightening humanoid figure materializes ever closer. The figure is white and large, a skinwalker perhaps. If such a thing does indeed exist, I would imagine it to look just like this. You can hear the desperation in Richard's voice as he tries to convince his friend of what he is seeing.
It's like 35 feet away, and it came out of those weeds. You know what I'm talking about?
At one point, the being looks almost ape-like, until it stands straight again, and then it clearly is not. The creature is very well aware that Richard is there, and it watches him. Richard says something like, "It came back."
Oh my God, there it is, Mike. It came back. Oh my gosh.
Making us understand that this is not the first time he is visited by this. We can only hope that Richard's friend eventually believed him and came to his rescue. This driver caught a strange sight in the middle of the road and had to film it. A strange-looking predator carrying away its slain prey. The only thing really clear in this video is the fact that whatever the animal is walking away, it is carrying the head of a zebra. Where does the rest of the prey lie, we wonder? It is half bush pig, half buck of some kind, a deviant of nature, an amalgamation of beings that hides in the night. I am not quite sure what this creature is. Unfortunately, just as we see the profile of the animal, it disappears into the bush. But I think I've been watching this video too many times. The animal's bottom almost seems pixelated as it trots casually away, which makes me wonder whether the footage has been edited. The animal is indeed casual. It does not seem perturbed that there is a vehicle with bright lights following closely behind it. There is no sense of urgency. This in itself is strange and somewhat unnerving. The Kraken lives. During their dive off the coast of Japan, 2 divers captured a remarkable video of their encounter with a massive squid at close range. The couple recorded the footage of the 8-foot-long squid using their underwater camera, capturing the squid floating in the waters. Despite the large creature, the video is peaceful, and one cannot be in awe of how lithe the creature is. Despite being the largest invertebrate on Earth, the giant squid continues to largely perplex scientists, remaining a mysterious creature. Although this creature appears calm and peaceful, squids are actually formidable predators, and have been known to attack human divers when given the chance. Their powerful tentacles can seize divers, pulling them downwards and causing disorientation, while their sharp teeth and claws can cut through wetsuits and skin. But what is more terrifying is obviously its size. The giant squids are known to live deep down in our oceans, where every creature is gigantic. So it is a mystery why it came so close to the surface. This video starts innocently enough with a few guys filming something odd in the distance. The one filming makes reference to black dots, but their attention, and ours, is very soon diverted to the large humans scaling the forest edge. We hear the cameraman's exclamation that it is a skinwalker.
Dude, that was a skinwalker, what? Follow him. I videoed it.
Within Navajo culture, a skinwalker is characterized as a malevolent witch capable of transforming into, possessing, or camouflaging themselves as an animal. I was under the assumption, however, that skinwalkers ever only came out at night. This is in broad daylight. I'm really not sure what to make of it. The creature is huge, almost reaching the tops of the trees. Unfortunately, it isn't long before the guys lost the creature, so we can't be sure what it was that we saw. This lady has found one of the strangest looking creatures. At first, it does look like some sort of a abnormal rat, crawling without any limbs. However, as strange and alien as these creatures are, there's actually a logical explanation. This bizarre creature is called the rat-tailed maggot. So it is not a rat, but rather a maggot. It is the larval or immature stage of a fly. These whitish larvae measure around 3 to 4 inches in length and possess a distinctive feature, an elongated tail of approximately 1 to 2 inches in length. This tail serves as a breathing tube for the maggots when they are submerged in water. As they reach maturity, the maggots become a nuisance by crawling away from their breeding site in search of a dry location where they can undergo metamorphosis and transition into the adult stage. As creepy as they look, they are completely harmless, so the lady in this video was in no danger. This guy was walking around in a forest, filming as he was doing his stroll, but when looking back at his footage, he found something strange caught on camera. Right at the end of this footage, the camera caught the sight of a strange lizard-like creature which can be seen emerging from a tree stump. The cameraman obviously did notice, as we can see how he freaked. It is indeed a frightening sight to see while walking all alone in a forest. But honestly, I think that rather than a mysterious creature, it is more likely a type of lizard. But even that would be hoping for too much. There is so much driftwood and debris out in the forest that it is quite easily just a strange shaped piece of wood. There are strange creatures among us, for sure. This isn't one of them. These remarkable images, captured by a trail camera deep in the forests of Oregon, have ignited a wave of speculation and wonder. From the very first glance, it becomes apparent that we may be in the presence of the legendary and elusive creature known as Bigfoot. The figure, towering amidst the trees, exhibits distinct humanoid characteristics, captivating the imagination with its enigmatic presence. However, it is the additional element that truly adds an extra layer of intrigue to this already fascinating encounter. Upon closer examination, an unexpected revelation unfolds. Nestled securely on the back of the majestic Bigfoot, a smaller figure becomes visible. This diminutive companion, seemingly a baby, clings tenaciously to its larger counterpart, gripping onto the strands of hair. The resemblance between the two is striking, suggesting a kinship. The notion that these awe-inspiring beings may indeed be a Bigfoot and its offspring opens up a world of possibilities. Could these elusive creatures possess complex familial structures and social dynamics? Do they, like humans and other mammals, exhibit maternal instincts and nurture their young? The presence of the baby Bigfoot lends further credence to the existence of an entire species. Could this remarkable trail camera footage be the key that unlocks the secrets surrounding Bigfoot's elusive nature? We can see someone filming some sort of animal in a ditch that is approaching. The person filming is backing as the creature is approaching. At first glance, one might be inclined to believe that the approaching creature is a bear cub, given its initial size and the cautious retreat of the person behind the camera. However, as the lens focuses and the animal turns to reveal its profile, we quickly see that this is not the case. The creature possesses a unique amalgamation of features: a sizable head, a compact body adorned with a dense coat of hair, and short limbs that convey an uncanny fusion of monkey-like attributes with those reminiscent of a rat. Its distinct form is enough to elicit both fascination and trepidation, leaving us to question the very nature of its existence. As the scene unfolds, our attention is drawn to the creature's behavior. It exhibits a mixture of curiosity and caution, a primal instinct driving it to explore its surroundings while remaining wary of the human presence. We witness its repeated attempts to scale the grassy wall beside the ditch, an endeavor that suggests a desire to evade potential danger or seek refuge in the elevated terrain. The intensity of the encounter heightens as the creature persists in its approach towards the person filming. What drives it to venture towards the human observer? Is it driven by curiosity, a quest for food, or perhaps an unknown instinctual desire for connection? However, just as the anticipation reaches its peak, the video abruptly ends, leaving us yearning for more. What exactly was this enigmatic creature that crossed paths with the intrepid filmmaker? In this video, we can see some guys in their boat on a river, filming the shoreline for some reason. It is really windy where they are, as we can see from the original sound as the camera pans across the riverbank. Their search for scenic beauty takes an unexpected turn. Amongst the tall grass, a peculiar sight captures their attention, an enigmatic figure with a coat of shaggy brown fur. Intrigued, the cameraman speculates, pondering whether it could be a dog lingering by the river's edge.
Okay, so is something a dog or what?
Little do they know, their assumptions are about to be challenged in the most astonishing manner. In a sudden twist, the figure abruptly rises from its previous position, unveiling its true form. What was initially perceived as a dog reveals itself to be a bipedal being, swiftly standing upright and revealing its incredible stature. The sheer magnitude of this creature amazes the two guys in the boat.
Oh la verga! Oh shit!
With a surge of speed, the creature darts away, effortlessly navigating its way through the surrounding terrain. The realization that they have just encountered a creature of tremendous significance washes over the two guys, filling them with a blend of exhilaration and curiosity. Although the video does not show anything more, and we get a very brief sight of the creature, it still raises the question of whether they may have captured a glimpse of the legendary Sasquatch, a creature often shrouded in mystery and folklore. Could this video be the elusive evidence that generations have sought, providing a tantalizing glimpse into the existence of the legendary Bigfoot? This is the recording from a few friends out in the forest at night camping. They are just filming themselves talking, eating, joking around. For a long part of the video, this is the only thing that happens. But their lovely night is soon to take a scary turn. After a while, they hear a distant scream in the forest. Everyone becomes quiet as they try to listen closely.
Oh, ow, man. What? Did you hear something?
One of the guys asks if someone can come with him to look around to make sure they are safe.
It's been 10 minutes. Devin? Yet, bro. No. Can a couple of people just come with me just to make sure we're good?
They begin walking around the forest with the camera still rolling and the only source of light, this time, being the flashlight from the camera. They hear the scream again in the forest, and this time they sound more panicked, calling for someone, possible one of their friends.
Shit. Alexis? Alexis?
One of the girls seems to have spotted something as she can be heard asking what the heck is that.
What in the hell is that?
They get to a structure made out of branches, wondering what is that. They find their friend in this wooden structure, but suddenly, and out of nowhere, a bizarre creature appears, going straight for them. The camera is dropped in the grass out of the sheer terror they might have felt. If we slow down the video and zoom in, we can actually see what started chasing them. A humanoid creature with multiple limbs and no hair on it. Its skin seems to be of a human, but the body structure is abnormal. So what was all that? This video is really strange, as if taken from a horror movie, and I tend to believe it is just a short horror film made by someone and uploaded on the internet to give people a fright. But what do you think? This video seems to have been taken somewhere in a desert. We can see someone heading towards what appears to be a covered well or cave. As the camera focuses on the imposing metal sheet obscuring the opening, an unsettling symphony of otherworldly sounds can instantly be heard. Something is down there. The filmmaker, driven by an insatiable curiosity, or perhaps compelled by an indomitable sense of bravery, proceeds to lift the metal sheet, granting us a glimpse into the abyss. It is a chorus of chilling proportions, an amalgamation of howls, cries, moans, and screams that are coming from the depths below. Each haunting sound seems to emanate from a multitude of unseen creatures concealed within the depths of the well or cave. I am not sure what the guy in the video is thinking, but for sure no one would want to have anything to do with that, whatever might be down there. This footage was taken by the security camera a guy installed in his room because he kept hearing strange things in his house. From the very outset of the footage, an unsettling sight can be seen in the room. A subtle shade of light, almost ethereal in nature, dances and glides alongside the bed. I thought at first that it might be a liquid stain on the lens, but we can see that this light is moving weirdly, in a ghost-like fashion. As the events unfold, the abnormal activity intensifies. Boxes, resting peacefully on a table, are suddenly hurled into the air with alarming force. The room becomes a stage for this spectral performance, leaving us questioning the forces at play. In a particularly chilling moment, one of the boxes is forcefully propelled onto the sleeping owner, jolting him from his slumber. As the owner appears to start waking up, the ghostly form diminishes and moves in the direction of the man, like it is somehow entering inside him. Once the man wakes up, he is startled, as if he knows something happened, perhaps from seeing the thrown boxes. As the man fully awakens, a look of startled recognition flickers across his face, hinting at a vague awareness of the inexplicable events that have just unfolded. While the nature of the phenomenon captured in the video remains elusive, several interpretations emerge. Some propose the notion of a ghostly apparition, a lingering spirit seeking connection or resolution. Others suggest the possibility of astral projection, an experience where the soul temporarily leaves the physical body, yet remains connected to it, which I'm leaning towards because we can see the ghostly figure diminish and seem to go inside the man, like he was part of him. But what do you think? This is footage from a few hikers somewhere in Asia. We can see they are hiking somewhere in the mountains at night, with the only source of light being the flashlight from the camera they have. They seem to be looking around at a rock formation, possibly having spotted something that caught their eyes. As the cameraman comes closer to a creek in the mountain, he hears some sort of growling. At first, it's hard to see anything, but as the camera gets closer to a creek in the mountain, the creature becomes more visible. The creature seems to be trying to hide, and as the camera zooms in, we can see a humanoid shape with a grayish head and large black eyes. The creature's movements are swift and erratic, and it appears to be peering at the hikers from behind a rock. The hikers become frightened and run away as fast as they can. The video raises a lot of questions about what the creature could be. Could it be an animal that has not yet been discovered or identified? Or could it be something else entirely, such as a cryptid or extraterrestrial? The footage is not clear enough to say for certain, but it is certainly intriguing. There have been many sightings of strange humanoid creatures all over the world, and many people believe that there are creatures such as skinwalkers, which roam the forests, looking for their next prey. This video was taken by a father who took his daughter out for a walk in the forest. For a long while, he was just walking around, filming his daughter explore and have fun in nature. But at some point, they got to a clearing in the forest, and as they were looking around, the camera picked some big figure moving between the trees. At first glance, it may seem like an animal, but as the footage is zoomed in, it becomes clear that the figure appears to be a large, hairy creature, potentially resembling the mythical Bigfoot. Descriptions of the creature vary, but it is generally depicted as a large bipedal humanoid covered in hair or fur, which seems to match what we have on this video. None of the parties seem to have noticed one another at that time. Was it just luck that this father did not have to face Bigfoot to save his daughter? However, it is possible that the video has been edited to include the figure, or that it is a clever hoax created by someone hoping to create a viral video. What do you think? Is this video authentic? I've found this image online, with the user claiming they have captured this on trail camera. It is no question what the first thought anyone would have. That is the face of the legendary Bigfoot. Its face fully covered in brown hair, a large nose, perhaps for a body just as big. On the other hand, its eyes seem to convey also a gentleness. Could this image be real or fake? Is it the real face of the legendary creature? A large and ominous-looking predator emerges from the right into the camera frame. Moving almost too quickly to focus on it, disappears in seconds from view. A chance encounter of a lifetime occurs when this person captures what appears to be a creature of legend known as the Almasty or Snowman of the Caucasus. This cousin to Bigfoot, and the Yeti is believed to roam the Caucasian wilds. Approximately 6 feet tall with red or black fur, the creature is believed to have slanted eyes that glow red in the dark. In a strange bounding leaping gait, it proceeds to tear through the forest as if in pursuit of something we cannot see. The cameraman manages to capture a clear glimpse of it just before it disappears. These mysterious beasts can move at 37 miles per hour and resemble something between an ape and a Neanderthal. Watch as the creature almost jumps from one step to another. Had this unsuspecting voyeur been spotted, it would be unlikely that they'd manage to escape at the pace the creature is able to pursue its prey. A man films a live video of himself walking around a seemingly deserted ship deck at night. No sooner has he started filming when his eyes grow wide with surprise. He turns the phone camera to the water, and it takes a moment to realize that we aren't seeing something but hearing it. At first, it sounds like the wail of a child in the distance, but with every repeated sound, it becomes something far more abstract and eerie.
I hear him. Where's he at? What the fuck is that noise?
He breaks into a run, moving to the hull of the ship to get closer to the sound. This time, a distinct series of calls are heard coming from the darkness beyond. Something or someone throws its voice as if responding to him.
That's crazy.
Later, he posts a replay of his live video, calling out to the voice. A clear response is heard from the distance as he balances precariously to get as close to the sound as possible.
Can you hear me? Yo, that shit was instantaneous, bro.
Oh, I gotta watch my step out here, man.
Listen to its distinct call, just a second before he calls out again to it.
Where are you? Oh, that's over here. Wait, no, now it's there.
The voice appears to be coming from two places at once. What is this strange call? There does not appear to be another boat in close proximity. Could it be a ghost from some long, forgotten shipwreck? Or the mythical mermaid, like sirens who lured sailors with their haunting song, only to have them drown when their boats capsized on the rocks? At 3:30 in the morning, a young girl is caught on the Ring camera, gingerly pressing the doorbell. She seems agitated and nervously glances out at the dark from where she's just come from. She pauses briefly before running off into the dark. Is someone chasing her? Where is her family? It is unclear what has happened. But there is a sinister feeling about the footage. An unconfirmed report suggests that the child is being used as bait for her criminal father, and that seconds after the door was indeed opened, the witness stated that she immediately ran into the house, and seconds later, after they'd only just managed to shut the door, a man with a gun came charging up to the door. Some viewers claim to see a shadowy figure behind her. For now, we are left to wonder what terrible circumstances brought this young child to a stranger's door in the early hours of the morning. Below the streets of Paris lie a labyrinth of tunnels that became the site of mass graves. This area is known as the catacombs and is sealed off from the public. Video footage is discovered on an abandoned video camera found deep within the catacombs. Comprised of a continuous point of view, Shot presents a disturbing narrative. The first 40 minutes are largely uneventful as the mystery man travels into the depths of the catacombs. All of a sudden, he begins to walk faster and faster. As his pace picks up, you can hear his breathing. Eventually, he breaks into a run, pausing only briefly to decide which way to turn. The panic is palpable, and then he just drops his camera, and all that can be seen are his shoes reflected as he runs away, and the camera continues recording until it runs out of tape. Explorer Francis Friedland gathers a team of experienced men to attempt to find the mysterious missing man.
In Paris, you have as many miles of tunnels underground as there are streets above ground. No one knows just how many passageways exist in the catacombs, but we believe that they go down over 300 feet. Some are filled with water, and many tunnels have collapsed over the years. It's an enormous maze. We think there are as many as 7 levels to it.
Friedland and his team will have to enter the catacombs illegally. They search to find a hole, but most have been closed by the authorities. They end up walking down a deserted train track where they eventually find a point of entry. The conditions in the catacombs are exceptionally dangerous. It is dark, cold, and difficult to maneuver. Chances of finding the lost man are slim. There are narrow passages to navigate and even holes you can fall into. Friedland explains that there are over 400 miles of passages, and that anyone could easily get lost in the tunnels and never find their way out. If you lose your flashlight, you are dead. At 297 feet below the streets of Paris, the group conclude that this was too deep for an amateur, and that the man more than likely got lost and died. After 6 hours, the men are exhausted and are running low on batteries. They abandon their search and attempt to surface through a manhole, but it is sealed shut. They will now have to retrace their steps back to the surface. As for this man, we will never know what he was running from, and if he ever saw the light of day again. Captured through the zoomed-in lens of a cell phone camera, a large and terrifying creature emerges from the trees on the right-hand side of the screen. It faces the brave cameraman and begins to run towards the campground. The occupants flee in terror. Could this be the legendary Bigfoot? Watch the actual footage and decide for yourself. Either way, it was a close call for these campers.
Yo, what the? Yo! See that? Is that it? Hello? Yo, you see that dude? Look! Yo, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Go, 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 go. Get the fuck out of here.
Zoomed in over 20 times optical and shot from about 20 yards, an Explorer captures this amazing and utterly chilling close-up of a Sasquatch. If you look carefully, the creature's face is clearly visible, looking straight in the direction of the videographer, who is hiding beneath a pine tree. Seemingly unfazed, the creature continues to hold his ground to ensure the safety of his tribe. Deep in the forest at Watauga Lake, a large black bear is seen mauling its defenseless prey. Despite the deer being quite large, the grip of the bear is too strong. It tries in vain to free itself from the vise, but eventually succumbs to the predator and is dragged off to its lair. Two buck face off in an epic battle, and the victor will win his ultimate prize, a doe to mate with. A common occurrence in nature but seldom caught on camera, these two bucks are engaging in a duel during mating season. As a last resort, they abandon budding antlers and stand up to attack their opponent with their hooves, which are wicked weapons. They are remarkably agile on their hind legs. Notice as the buck on the left gains ground, using its sharp front hooves to attack his opponent. They will engage in this combat until one or both succumbs to injury, or has had enough and gives up. A man is seen frantically trying to climb a tree as a large bear follows close behind. As he struggles to ascend higher out of harm's way, the bear follows. At its full height, it snaps at the man's heels as helpless onlookers film him. The hungry and agitated bear is in hot pursuit, and as the man struggles to get a good grip on the branch, the bear begins to climb the tree as well. In the nick of time, the would-be prey manages to escape to higher safety. The bear, losing interest, abandons the hunt and returns to the ground. It is unclear whether he will remain there in the hopes the man will tire, and he will have an easy dinner. Either way, an incredibly close call for the man whose quick thinking more than likely saved his life.
This trail camera seems to have caught some bizarre creature lurking in the middle of the forest. It can be seen casually passing by. I am not sure what this is, since we cannot see its face, but it is a creature out of this world that is beyond human understanding. The trail camera is positioned high, making it hard to distinguish this creature's true height. If we watch the video at a slower speed, we might make up the idea that this strange being is tall because it takes long strides as it moves deeper into the forest. Its whole body is covered in a coat of thick fur, which makes it resemble an ape. We can't make much out of this footage, but it does seem to resemble the same body structure we all know of the infamous Sasquatch, the Bigfoot. However, what is with all that hopping around? Really strange footage. In this video, a man decided to film his experience while walking in the woods when he unexpectedly came across a fascinating sight. As he continues filming, he catches something in the corner of his eyes that seems really creepy.
Whoa.
He adjusts his camera at the direction of what caught his eyes and zooms at it. The image becomes clearer, the creature's white face standing out amidst the thick foliage of leaves. It also seems to have dark eyes
that are intensely staring in his direction. But the creature is not flinching at all, standing still for the entirety of the video.
He's standing above the bushes. He, she, whatever. Look how tall that is.
If we look too closely, we might make the impression that the creature is blinking, but I think that is because of the poor quality of the camera.
You see how dark its eyes are? Yo, this is scary to an extent. I don't usually see white ones like that.
The man recording is spooked, and even admits that he doesn't normally see creatures as such in the area. Could this be some random animal, or is it a kind of cryptid? Or could it be just a random structure in the woods that spoke to him for no reason? In a forest in Indonesia, the locals stumbled upon a horrifying sight. The video captured a figure of what seems be a man wrapped in cloth. The figure is unresponsive and shockingly stands there. The voices of the witnesses crackle with awe and concern, as they seem to be familiar with what they are seeing. One even reclaims that the rope is untied. I can hear them saying it's a pocong. So I have done some digging around this video, and it is true many Indonesian people attribute this to an ancient ghostly entity that is said to be the soul of a dead person trapped in their shroud, a traditional belief of the Indonesian culture. The pocong of a person who has been dead for years would be more skeletal in appearance, like the one we are witnessing here. So could this be a real pocong? This trail camera caught a weird sighting. The camera catches some movement of a black and furry figure moving along the tree line. I'll admit it is not clear, and we can't make much out of it. I think this recording might be edited since the figure seems to be bigger and heavier than in reality, so I'm not sure if this is truly Bigfoot, or just a person who tried really hard to create a video of a Bigfoot Sasquatch and wanted to gather as much attention as possible. But I could be wrong. What do you think? A camera installed in a household captured some paranormal activity. In the stillness of the night, the sleeping cat is suddenly being carried by what seems to be an invisible force. It floats in the air for a while. Then the invisible figure seems to place it on the other side of the bed. What could be behind these eerie occurrences? Definitely, this has involvement of ghostly activities. The poltergeist is one mostly known for such nuisance. Most claims or fictional descriptions of poltergeists show them as being capable of moving objects such as furniture and cutlery, or making noises such as knocking on doors. But I have never seen one use its powers to move a cat on the other side of the bed. I hope the cat is not too traumatized by this experience. The owner of this house had been hearing strange noises in his attic at night, so he decided to install a hidden camera to uncover the uncanny happenings. The home cam recording captured some paranormal activities happening in the attic. Amidst the calmness, at the far corner, the wooden seat can be seen moving as if it had been pushed. It happens the second time, and this time it's more evident that there could be ghostly activities happening there. This time the chair is pushed farther, and this is really terrifying. As if that was not enough, the wooden horse toy starts rocking on its own. I am sure the residents of this home were really frightened after they saw this recording. Could it be the house was haunted before they moved in? A man claiming to have been staying in a secluded Pennsylvania cabin thought he was seeing something outside at night, so he got his phone and started filming this. Deep in the darkness, as he zooms his camera, he sees a pair of gleaming eyes. The eyes seem to be looking at him directly, as if it is stalking on him. The footage is not clear, but one can see its shadowy figure outline, and the shape of its head is unearthly. With a final demonic glare, it turns and goes away. The witness is left wondering what could that be, but glad that he had recorded it all on camera. This recording is showing one of the worst things one can do when seeing a bear. Approach it for a picture. The lady in question wanted to look fancy on her Instagram, posing gracefully together with one of the deadliest creatures in nature. The photograph looks really into it as we see him leaning on the car with a really big camera, as if they were ready to have this photo shoot. But unfortunately for them, the bear had enough, as he quickly lunges towards the woman just enough to scare her. She is lucky the bear wanted only to give her a fright, and not to make her a meal. So please people, don't do that if you see a bear. These two curious women decided to explore the woods when they came about something that will forever leave them questioning. The sight of really strange and small creature high up in a tree. It is difficult to define, as it unresponsive the creature seemed to be clutched onto the tree and is not moving. The two claim to have never seen anything like that, and one of them can be heard asking if maybe it could be a bear. The unknown creature has a thick coat of fur and is same size as a bear cub. The two women recording are uneasy and are in wonder if the creature could cause any harm to them. As they continue recording the video, they are frightened and probably think it is a good idea to leave. The women flee from the scene wondering about the eerie encounter of the wild. So what exactly was that?
For more strange and interesting footage, check this out.